Chapter 2952, Twin, 17. After making Ling Wei and the others invisible, Ling Ruoxue and the others stepped into the only path to enter and exit the valley. Following the path, they walked all the way to the foot of the mountain. There, they just happened to see Master Ning and the others who were walking in circles. Godfather and the others seemed to have lost their way. Godfather! Ling Ruoxue called out and revealed herself. The rest of the people also revealed themselves. Hearing the familiar voice, Master Ning turned around abruptly. His expression changed slightly, but he quickly regained his composure. He walked towards Ling Ruoxue with a smile and asked, "Shuer, why are you here? And why is Godfather here?" Ling Ruoxue asked instead of answering. He. We're here for a walk. I heard the scenery here is pretty good. Master Ning wrung his fingers uneasily and lowered his head. Oh. Qing, you're also here for a stroll? Ling Ruoxue continued to ask as she looked at the little phoenix who was at a loss. Why yes, you're Ling Ruoxue. Qing didn't dare to recognize them because Ling Ruoxue and the others had changed their appearances to save them. Of course, she didn't recognize the three old phoenixes that were the sixth elder. Ling Ruoxue nodded. Once Qing confirmed it, she immediately grabbed Ling Ruoxue's hand nervously and said, "Ling Ruoxue, something has happened to our grand ancestor." Finally seeing Ling Ruoxue, Qing's heart relaxed. However, tears still fell from her eyes. Seeing this, Ling Ruoxue patted her hand and said, "They're fine now." Really? Qing couldn't believe it. When did this happen? Why didn't she know about it? Qing. At this time, the sixth elder called out, and then pulled Qing to the side to have a heart-to-heart talk. With that, Master Ning became Ling Ruoxue's main target. Shuer, you guys are so fast. Seeing that Ling Ruoxue was only staring at him without saying a word, Master Ning became nervous in an instant. At this time, even if he wanted to lie to himself, he did not dare to continue lying to himself that Shuer had come here by accident. Shuer, you know everything. Master Ning made up his mind and asked in a low voice. I understand. I just don't know if Godfather is still trying to fool me. Ling Ruoxue nodded and replied calmly. Shuer, I didn't. Master Ning was very guilty. He just wanted to get away with it, but more importantly, he didn't want Shuer to take risks here. No. Ling Ruoxue squinted her beautiful eyes and said with a faint smile. All right. I was wrong. Seeing that Shuer was about to get angry, Master Ning quickly admitted his mistake, but then he hid his resentment with a resentful face. That damned Mu Li, he actually betrayed me. Mu Li didn't betray you. We saw that he was hiding something from us and forced them to say it. Ling Ruoxue replied honestly. I see. Shuer, I really didn't want you to come here. Because this could very well be a trap. Master Ning said carefully while looking at Ling Ruoxue's expression. He was relieved to see that she was not angry. Thanks, if I didn't come, would the other party let me go? Ling Ruoxue sighed. It doesn't matter if we let him go or not. I'm planning to rob him anyway. Master Ning said honestly. Ling Ruoxue was speechless. Her godfather's bandit nature was getting more and more intense. Godfather, if Rhyme really wants to use me to exchange for people, I will definitely use the Ning family. After all, they were all taken hostage by the Rhyme bitch because of me. Ling Ruoxue revealed her decision. Immediately, everyone opposed it, especially Master Ning, who opposed it the most fiercely. Shuer, you can't do this. If you do this, won't you be falling into the enemy's trap? I've already decided that if I really can't get her, I'll just give up. Master Ning said decisively. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. Ice Spirit patted Master Ning's shoulder and comforted him, don't worry. We have so many people, we can definitely save the Ning family safely. Moreover, Wu Ling is injured now, so she may not be willing to fight us head-on. He had experienced the pain of making a choice, so he understood Master Ning very well and his choice. After all, He had been like this before. Although this choice was not very fair to the Ning family, for the safety of the entire divine world, if it really came to that, there was no other way. Of course, he didn't think that they couldn't save the Ning family with so many people. With Master Ning's words, he decided that, just based on Master Ning's protective heart for Shuai, he would save the Ning family's little guys no matter what. Wu Chen is injured again. Master Ning couldn't help asking. Yes, but this time, she suffered a backlash from her own strength. It has nothing to do with us. Ice Spirit said with a smile. He even felt pity for Wu Jie. She was really unlucky. Even drinking cold water would get stuck in her teeth. Godfather, the Ripple Mist bitch kidnapped the Ning family this time. It's very likely that she was provoked by this injury. Len Ruoxue added. What? Master Ning was confused. She kidnapped her own descendant after being provoked? Divine Master. He was really too lacking in class to actually vent his anger on some little fellows. Normally speaking, the stronger the expert, the more they would treasure their reputation. Thus, as long as it wasn't a mortal enemy or a clan extermination enmity, the expert wouldn't usually vent his anger on the ordinary clansmen of the other party. Just like Shuai and the others, they had always targeted Wu Chen alone. They had never kidnapped the guards of Yu City or the people of the Divine Master's estate as hostages. Of course, it would be a different story if those minor characters were to send themselves to their deaths. But at the very least, the strong would never take the initiative to bully the weak unless the two sides were hostile to each other to the extent of not resting until one of them was dead. And now, Wu Chen was clearly being pushed to the limit. As such, the Ning family had become the first target of Wu Yan's attack. Who asked them to have the closest relationship with Len Ruoxue? Len Ruoxue faced her godfather's thirst for knowledge and briefly told him about what had happened in the city of abandoned ruins. Master Ning sighed after hearing it. All of a sudden, he began to understand the Ripple Mist bitch. If it was anyone else who failed to attack the city and suffered a backlash from their own Shin power, they would probably not be happy. However, no matter how unhappy you are, you can't vent your anger on someone else's descendant, right? Sympathy was sympathy, but Master Ning also made up his mind. Except for Fog, he couldn't let anyone go. Master Ning's momentum instantly soared. Len Ruoxue was relieved to see her godfather full of fighting spirit. Godfather, let's go up the mountain. After that, Len Ruoxue smiled. Shuai, there seems to be a maze formation on this mountain. We've been searching for a long time, but we still can't find the way up. Hearing this, Master Ning immediately spat at Len Ruoxue. A bewildering formation. Let's go in and take a look. Len Ruoxue asked with interest. When they reached the top of the mountain, Len Ruoxue carried Song and Evildoer and walked at the front. There was indeed a bewildering array set up on this mountain. However, for someone like her who had mastered the array, breaking a small bewildering array was simply like playing around. Chapter 2953, Twin, 18, half a day later, they had already reached the top of the mountain. On the top of the mountain, there was a spacious house. A few men in black were standing guard outside the courtyard. When they saw Len Ruoxue and her group suddenly appear, the few men in black were stunned for a moment before they reacted and loudly questioned, "Which scoundrel is it? State your name." When they heard this, Len Ruoxue and the others didn't make a sound. At this moment, a little silver mouse the size of a palm came out from her sleeve. The little silver mouse took advantage of the tiger's might, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws as it roared, "You bastard! You're the rat, your entire family is a rat." When Len Ruoxue and the rest heard this, they broke out in cold sweat. What was this little fellow blowing up at? They, who were called rats, had not even gotten angry yet. Moreover, seeing a silver rat calling the other party's entire family a bunch of rats, this kind of scene really looked very cute no matter how one looked at it. The few men in black were also dumbfounded. The whole family of rats? And these words came from the mouth of a rat. After coming to his senses, the man in black was furious. Fuck. You're a rat, okay? Your whole family is full of rats. The man in black was so angry that his face and neck turned red as he shouted. Are you blind? I'm so pretty and cute, how can I be a mouse? I'm the king of silver rats with the noblest status. Ignorant humans, quickly retreat. The silver rat king said furiously. Fuck. The noble silver rat was called a rat by a human without posture. This was the greatest humiliation to it. The silver rat king was furious, and the consequences were severe. And the serious consequence was that it decisively complained to its dear master, Master, these country bumpkins who have never seen the world call me a mouse. Don't lower yourself to the level of a dead person. Leng Ruoxue gently stroked the silver rat king's little head as she consoled it. She couldn't help but chuckle in her heart. This little thing was really too cute. Yes, I won't hold a grudge against a dead person. I'm a noble silver rat, so I have to pay attention to my status. The silver rat king said smugly. As for the few men in black who were listening to the conversation between Leng Ruoxue and the silver rat king, they were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. Who was the dead man? It was obvious that it was them. You ignorant humans and rats. The men in black were furious again. You are the dead and the dead rats. Your sister. You dare to call us dead people. Little black eggs, I will destroy you in the name of justice. The silver rat king waved its little claws and roared. It then turned to look at its master and said, Master, you guys go. I'll cheer you guys on. After hearing the silver rat king's arrangement, Uncle Long and the others were speechless. This little guy had actually managed to command them, and they had become the silver rat king's thugs. Why did it feel so awkward? Leng Ruoxue, on the other hand, only patted the silver rat king's head in a pampering manner. Then, she obediently released a few wind blades. The moment the wind blades were released, they immediately flew towards the black-robed men like meteors. Their speed was so fast that it was impossible to guard against them. Bang! Bang! After a few muffled sounds, the man in black, who had no time to react, fell to the ground and died with his eyes wide open. Mighty Master! Seeing this, the silver rat king clapped its little hands and cheered. She then stroked the silver rat king's fluffy little head and said to the people around her, Let's go in. Thanks, yes. Uncle Long and the others nodded, but Ching-er couldn't help but ask, We're going in like this? What if there's a trap? Azure has already searched with his divine senses. There is only one godly venerable rank expert and more than 10 godly sovereigns, Leng Ruoxue explained. At the same time, she turned to look at the experts on her side and felt that they were bullying her. Only this many people. Uncle Long couldn't believe it. What the hell was that old woman, Wu Ice, doing? In fact, this was what most of the people present were thinking. Especially after knowing that there were only 2 or 3 kittens in the house, they had to admit that they were a little disappointed. It could be said that Rime Ice's forces were quite mysterious, so they originally thought that they could get a glimpse of the other party's truth. But now that they knew that there were only a few people inside, their disappointment was obvious. So, the fog had gone through all this trouble just to play with them? It had to be said that everyone knew the truth. The reason Wu Xian captured the Ning family was really to cause trouble for Leng Ruoxue and the rest. She just wanted Leng Ruoxue to know that as long as she was willing, she could completely treat the people close to her enemy as fools and play with them. At this moment, she had no intention of completely falling out with Leng Ruoxue, so she naturally did not do anything to the Ning family. However, she believed that the experience this time would definitely make those around Leng Ruoxue extremely depressed. With that, her goal was achieved. There's only this much, Leng Ruoxue said with certainty. Everyone was silent. Don't fight with me for him. After a long while, Uncle Long was the first to shout and ran into the house. Dongfang Yu and the rest who were a step behind him followed closely behind. In the blink of an eye, only Leng Ruoxue, the demon, Tsang and Master Ning were left outside the house. Even the overexcited Silver Rat King had run inside to watch the show. Are we still going in? Leng Ruoxue was a little confused. Everyone was so fast. Shuer, I think we've been played. Master Ning bit down with hatred. Before coming, he had imagined several outcomes, but he didn't expect that the other party would only send so few people to guard his own clansmen, and that Fog didn't even show up. Was she looking down on him? Yes, I am. Leng Ruoxue was also depressed. Previously, she had also thought that Rhyme was serious. Who knew that Rhyme bitch would actually play such a trick on them? How was she supposed to continue playing with this? One had to know that before she came, she was full of pride and even wanted to test the enemy with her own body. Now, all the preparations had been in vain. At the same time, Uncle Long and the others had already run into the house. They took care of the men in black in the courtyard and house without any effort, and instantly rescued many trapped Ning family members. Shuer, that reverent god has run away. The others have been cleaned up, and the Ning family has been rescued. Uncle Long walked out from inside and reported to Leng Ruoxue. Is the Ning family all right? Leng Ruoxue asked with concern. I don't know. They're all unconscious. Uncle Long said honestly. Let's go in and take a look. After Leng Ruoxue finished speaking, she brought the evildoer and the rest into the courtyard. At this moment, the Ning family had already been carried into the room. Leng Ruoxue went in to check, then said to her godfather, Godfather, they've all been poisoned. It's no wonder that Rhymice only sent so few people to guard this place. Is this poison very troublesome? Master Ning couldn't help but ask. It might be troublesome for others, but it's easy for me. Don't worry. They'll be fine after we give them the antidote. Leng Ruoxue consoled. That's good. Hearing Shuer's words, Master Ning was relieved. After that, Leng Ruoxue distributed the antidote to Uncle Long and the others, asking them to help the Ning family take it. Chapter 2954, Twin, 19, Not long after, the Ning family, led by the second elder, woke up. As soon as he saw Master Ning, the second elder immediately shouted, Forefather, have you been captured as well? Wu, what should we do? Leng Ruoxue couldn't understand, while Master Ning's face was filled with disappointment. A reverent god had wiped out the entire Ning family. If such a thing were to spread, wouldn't he become a laughingstock in the divine world? The well water in the residence was poisoned, so we were poisoned. The second elder lowered his head and explained in embarrassment. It's indeed a well-tested method. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Whatever the well water poison was, the success rate would always be the highest. Miss Leng, you can't just let this matter go like this. Choking with sobs, the second elder turned to Leng Ruoxue for help. He did not dare to look at the family head's furious expression, so he had to get back at her no matter what. Otherwise, how could they face others in the future? Then what do you want to do? Leng Ruoxue blinked her eyes and asked. Give him a taste of his own medicine. Didn't they poison the Ning family's well? Let's go to the Divine Lord's estate to poison them. The second elder said ruthlessly. Very good. I support you, go. Take care, I won't send you off. Leng Ruoxue waved goodbye to second elder and second elder was dumbfounded. He didn't want to go personally. Looking at the second elder's dazed expression, Uncle Long and the others couldn't help but sneer. Hearing this laughter, the second elder's old face instantly turned red. Miss Leng, can you stop playing with me? I don't have that ability, I just want to ask for your help. The second elder's voice became softer and softer, and his head hung lower and lower. I won't help. If you want revenge, go by yourself. Leng Ruoxue rejected him directly. Instantly, the second elder wanted to cry. Wu! Why is it like this? Dear, please help me. The second elder's face was sullen as he looked at Leng Ruoxue pitifully. Leng Ruoxue smiled and said in all seriousness, I'm serious. However, I can help you make yourselves invisible. The second elder's eyes lit up. Invisibility works too. In this way, he didn't have to be afraid of being discovered by the people of Fog Ice. At the same time, the second elder immediately understood. So, this was what Lin Ruoxue meant when she said she wanted him to take revenge himself? Woo! Miss Leng was really too kind. She actually protected his face and dignity so much. This simply made him extremely touched. The excited second elder immediately requested to take revenge. Leng Ruoxue was also very supportive of this. She told the members of the Leng family that Ling Wei wanted to go to hide while they waited for their victorious return. Thanks, Godfather, there's no need to be so polite between us. Besides, second elder and the others were indeed implicated because of me. I should help them and let them vent their anger. Leng Ruoxue laughed. Hearing this, Master Ning nodded and stopped being polite to Leng Ruoxue. The next day, the second elder and the others returned with smiles on their faces. After successfully poisoning the well water of the God Lord's estate, they were no longer depressed and were all refreshed. Seeing the Ning family's people, led by the second elder, who were obviously showing off, Master Ning's face turned sour and he shouted, "From today onwards, all of you will be undergoing special training. You are only allowed to come out when you are qualified." After saying this, Master Ning directly threw the worrying Ning family to Huanshen to train. Out of safety considerations, he simply moved the Ning family's base to the Demon City, and the Ning family's god realm became an empty shell. Not long after, a piece of shocking news spread out from the immortal realm. The Ning family, one of the 8 great divine domains of the divine realm, had been attacked. Master Ning was seriously injured. The attack was directed at the God Lord's mansion. For a time, the entire God world was in an uproar. No one in the divine world had expected that the divine master's estate would suddenly attack the Ning family. However, when they thought about the relationship between Master Ning and Leng Ruoxue, some people felt that it would happen sooner or later. It was just that it had happened so suddenly that no one was mentally prepared. The Ning family's god realm that was emptied out was also treated as a land without an owner by some people. However, those ambitious forces didn't dare to act rashly without knowing the extent of the Ning family's casualties. After all, a thin camel was still bigger than a horse. Although the Ning family had been attacked by the Divine Lord's estate, there was no news of the death of the Ning family's master. The Divine Lord's estate didn't say anything either. Therefore, some people who wanted to take the Ning family's divine realm for themselves didn't dare to act directly. However, they didn't dare to attack the Ning family's god realm directly, but the forces around the Ning family's god realm had been subdued many times. When he heard the news, Master Ning's face turned green with anger. Detestable. This bunch of bastards. It was really like a tiger falling into the sun and being bullied by dogs. Am not dead yet. You dare to have designs on the Ning family's divine realm? In the living room, Master Ning went berserk. Hearing his words, Uncle Long smiled and comforted him. Humans have always been this shameless. It's perfectly normal for them to be like this. Calm down. What did he mean by getting shot while lying down? Hearing Uncle Long's words, all the humans in the room fell silent. Apart from Uncle Dragon and Ice Spirit, everyone else in the living room seemed to be human. However, there were also humans who were in a dilemma, such as Mu Li. He was in a dilemma over whether he was considered a human. Mu Li, who couldn't be sure of her own species, decided to ignore Uncle Long's words. Of course, after Uncle Long said that, he also realized that he had attracted hatred, so he quickly corrected, "Don't misunderstand, I'm talking about the people outside. The ones outside are the shameless bad guys." Uncle Long, we understand. Leng Ruoxue consoled. That's good. Uncle Long was relieved. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue turned to look at her godfather, who was stomping his feet, and asked, "Godfather, what do you plan to do about the rumors outside?" "What can I do? Right now, everyone outside is saying that I'm seriously injured. If I were to appear in front of everyone in the divine realm alive and well, how disappointed would some people be? Let them do it. Let's see if they can make me fall in the end. The master of the Ning family shouted. Hearing her godfather's angry words, Lin Ruoxue held back her laughter and said, "Actually, it's good to let them run around blindly. I want to see how the major forces will react to this rumor. Of course, this will also determine what kind of attitude we will have towards them in the future." In fact, they were the ones who had spread the rumor, but they had only said that the Ning family had been attacked by the Divine Lord's estate. As for things like Godfather being injured, it became more and more outrageous after being imagined by the powerful people of the immortal realm, and there were all kinds of versions. Chapter 2955, The Twins, 20. Some even said that the mist had turned her love to hate the Ning family, so she wanted to kill them. After all, she had done this kind of thing before, so it wouldn't be strange if she did it again. However, what made Lin Ruoxue speechless was that the rumored male lead had actually become her own godfather. The poor godfather had received the sympathy of countless people. Of course, there were also many people who supported Wu Jing, saying that she dared to love and hate. If she couldn't get it, she would destroy it completely and not let others benefit. She even said that she was the model of a real woman. When Lin Ruoxue heard all this, she only felt that the wind was blowing wildly. What the hell is this? It should be known that the original purpose of releasing the news was to make all the major forces in the divine world feel disgusted with the God Lord's estate. Now, things had turned out this way, which was absolutely beyond everyone's expectations. At the same time, it was not something they could control. As for how things would develop in the future, it was completely out of their expectations. Lin Ruoxue felt that the only thing she could do was to calm her godfather down. Let's do as Shuer says. I'll just watch and not speak. Master Ning agreed. After appeasing her godfather, Lin Ruoxue and the rest no longer bothered themselves with the matter. She finally put the crafting of the acquired Chaos Divine weapon back on her agenda. But after only half a month, Master Ning went crazy again. The cause was the rumor. According to the rumors, the master of the Ning family had passed away due to his serious injuries. There was even a certain Ning family member who was unwilling to reveal his name who came out to cry and beg the major forces of the divine world to uphold justice for the Ning family. In an instant, the rumors that had been fading away started to spread again. This time, the news was even more widespread than last time, and even the 3-year-old knew that Master Ning had died. After that, some of the major forces who wanted to take advantage of the situation finally began to move. However, due to Lin Ruoxue's terror, most of the forces were still in a state of observing. After that, some impatient forces sent out remonstrations to all the major forces. They invited all the forces to the Ning family's main city in the Divine Territory to discuss the division of the Ning family's territory. After all, the force that sent out this remonstration was not stupid. The Ning family's piece of cake was too big for them to swallow. More importantly, even though Master Ning had fallen, there was still Lin Ruoxue, the big crocodile. Could she just watch the Ning family's territory belong to someone else? And among all the factions, Lin Ruoxue's demon city was undoubtedly the strongest. But money moved people's hearts. The Ning family's divine realm was too tempting, be it in terms of geographical location or resources. Hence, no matter how powerful Lin Ruoxue was, they would not allow her to monopolize everything. Sitting in the living room, Lin Ruoxue looked at her godfather, who was so angry that his face had turned black and he had nothing to say. She did not know how to comfort him. Things were out of control, and it was obvious that someone was taking the opportunity to cause trouble. But who had the guts to do so? Could it be Wu Han's instructions? Immediately, Lin Ruoxue denied such a guess. The Ripple Mist slut shouldn't be so brainless. Godfather, I want to participate. Lin Ruoxue thought for a moment before she spoke carefully. Go. Go. All of you, go and take back more territory. Master Ning said helplessly. I don't want the territory. I just want to see how they've come to an agreement. I believe it will be very interesting. Lin Ruoxue replied honestly. What territory? It was good that there was enough, it was useless to have more. Shuer, that's my territory. It's the scale that I've worked hard for many years to reach, how can you despise it? Sob. I'm so sad. It's already pitiful enough that I've been rumored to have fallen, and now my goddaughter isn't even willing to help me fight for territory. Master Ning said, sobbing. Leng Ruoxue was speechless when she saw how shameless her godfather was. Song, who was lying in Leng Ruoxue's arms, laughed evilly, Ning family's boy, I've also heard about the death of that old woman, Wu Yan. Now you too, the unfortunate Mandarin ducks, can be considered to have a companion. Thanks your sister. Who would want to be that old woman's companion? However, it was Tsang who spoke, so Master Ning didn't dare to complain no matter how angry he was, and could only let him tease him. At this moment, someone came to report that the Cheng family head had arrived. Godfather, Clan Master Cheng is here too. Leng Ruoxue had only spoken half of her sentence when she heard Clan Master Cheng's hearty laughter. Shuer. I heard that your godfather has died. Ha ha ha. How could that guy die so early? He even died at the hands of his beloved. This is too unbelievable. As he spoke, the Cheng family's head had already stepped into the living room, accompanied by the Cheng family's young master, Qing Xian. At this moment, Qing Xian's face was filled with helplessness. He looked at Leng Ruoxue apologetically. You bastard! Who did you say died at the hands of the person you love? As soon as Master Cheng's words fell, Master Ning, who had been calm, became furious again. He vented all the depression that Tsang had given him. Humph. He didn't dare to do anything to Tsang, but he didn't dare to deal with old man Cheng. Just like that, the two old men, who were definitely not young, started fighting in the large living room. The Cheng family head laughed as he ran, not afraid of death. What, did you come back to life? Hee hee, I just said that you died in the hands of the person you like. Your sister. You're looking for death. Master Ning was angry, but he still knew what to do. He knew that he couldn't really fight with old man Cheng in the living room, or they would be the ones suffering the loss. And Master Cheng seemed to know this too, so he knew his limits when teasing Master Ning. Seeing them chasing each other like children, the people present were a little speechless. How old are you to still play this kind of game? Shuer, I'm sorry. We came as soon as we heard the news of Master Ning's death, Qing Xian tried to explain. However, before he could finish his sentence, Leng Ruoxue interrupted him with a look of understanding, I know, I'm here to gloat. Ah. Qing Xian instantly felt that it was better for him to keep his mouth shut. Just like that, no one said anything. They just calmly looked at the two old men chasing each other around the living room. When they were tired of the chase, the two of them automatically stopped. He had just sat down to drink some water and take a breath when the Cheng family head impatiently said, I'm here for the Ning family's divine realm. Master Cheng, are you interested in the Ning family's divine realm? Leng Ruoxue asked indifferently. Of course there is. Looking at Master Ning, Master Cheng continued with a smirk, Little girl Shuer, you don't know, but among our 8 great divine domains, the Ning family's divine domain has the best geographical location. It's by the mountains and the sea, the environment is beautiful, it's really a rare tourist spot. Such a good place, which force wouldn't want to share. Anyway, now that the old man is dead, the other people in the Ning family will definitely not be able to keep such a good place, so it's only a matter of time before it's divided. That's true. Leng Ruoxue nodded in agreement and added, originally, I wasn't interested in the Ning family's divine realm, but after hearing what you said, I feel that if I don't take action, it's really a loss. So, in order to let Godfather rest in peace, I, as his daughter, will have to work harder. Chapter 2956, The Twins, 21, You're right to think this way. This way, old man Ning will be at ease in the netherworld. The Qing family's head said with a look of relief. By the way, in front of Master Ning, you're buried and you know what's going on in the underworld, is it really good? At this moment, Master Ning was unexpectedly calm. Even Qing Xian was so scared that he didn't dare to look at him, but Master Ning wasn't angry at all. Or was he already extremely angry? Shuer, just bring me the location closest to Demon City. From time to time, Master Ning would even interrupt. Instantly, everyone was horrified. This was definitely the rhythm of being angered to the point of madness. 2 days later. With a trace of uneasiness, under Master Ning's resentful gaze, Leng Ruoxue brought evildoer, Sang, Uncle Long, Dong Fangyu, Mu Li, who insisted on following her, and 2 members of the Qing family to the Ning family's divine realm. At this moment, the Ning family's divine realm had almost fallen into a disorderly and chaotic state because they were a group of dragons without a leader. Originally, most of the shops in the major cities were owned by the Ning family. Now that the Ning family had collectively moved and was undergoing special training, there was naturally no one to manage the shops. There were even many shops that had changed owners. Of course, it was stolen. AI. It's a pity. Walking on the streets of a certain city in the Ning family's divine domain, the Qing family's head felt heartache as he looked at the various shops that were already in a state of complete ruin. All of this was money. However, Leng Ruoxue wasn't as sad as the Qing clan's clan head. She knew that her godfather had already packed all the valuable items that he could. What was left behind were just some fixed assets. Unless someone sabotaged them, they would never be lost. As for now, this was only temporary. Leng Ruoxue was clear that after Rime Ice was destroyed, the Ning family would return. The group walked and looked around, and soon arrived at the Ning family's main city. After being invited into the Ning family's main residence, Leng Ruoxue was rather surprised to see the other party acting as if he was the master of the house. They hadn't even allocated their territories yet, and they already thought of themselves as the master. As guests, Leng Ruoxue and the others were exceptionally cooperative with the other party's arrangements. This made the other party extremely satisfied. At the same time, he also gave the other party the impression that Leng Ruoxue was nothing much. Little girl, do you know the background of this force? After settling down in the guest courtyard, Leng Ruoxue and the rest had just gathered in the living room when Clan Master Cheng asked in a low voice with a mysterious expression. I don't know, Leng Ruoxue was very honest. To her, no power could compare to the power of Fog City. Hence, she had no intention of knowing who the other party was. No matter who it was, in her eyes, they were just clowns. It's related to the Yao family. The Qing family head said. The Yao family? The Yao family head has come out again. Leng Ruoxue was very surprised. It was said that ever since that old man's scheme against her failed, he went into seclusion. Why was he so active again? Did he really think that his godfather had died? I don't know if the Yao family's old man played a role in this. However, the force that invited us here is surnamed Chao. It was originally a middle-class force and was in-laws with the Yao family. It was only because it had latched onto the Yao family's thigh that it developed rapidly. Now, it can barely squeeze into the top force. The Cao family has been quite active recently. The Qing family head said with a smile. I see. Leng Ruoxue expressed that she understood. However, the Qing family's head continued to happily share the gossip of the Cao family with everyone, leaving everyone dumbfounded. Thanks in the end, the Cao family's daughter was fancied by a grand elder of the Yao family, and she was successfully married into the other party's 18th concubine. After saying this, the Qing family head continued to expose, Shuer, I heard that this daughter of the Cao family looks a little like you. She's also known as Little Leng Ruoxue. Everyone was silent. Leng Ruoxue felt as if 10,000 alpacas had whizzed past her heart. Why did she feel like beating someone up so much? Calm down, I know you don't feel good about it, but we can't stop them from using this gimmick. Don't you agree? Master Cheng's smile was rippling. It was obvious that he was not gloating over Master Ning's death enough, and now he was teasing Leng Ruoxue. Patriarch Cheng, do you have a grudge against the Cao family? Taking in a deep breath, Leng Ruoxue forced herself to calm down. Don't fall for the Qing clan head's trick. This fellow has learned to be bad. No, I didn't. No. Although there were idiots in my family who were seduced, they asked for it. They can't blame anyone. The Qing family's head said indifferently, but in his heart, he was gnashing his teeth in hatred. If it wasn't for the Yao family's old fart blocking him, he would have already killed that little bitch from the Cao family. Your sister. They had bullied the Qing family, and they thought that the Qing family was a pushover. However, even though the Qing clan's clan head was furious, he knew that with the Yao clan's protection, it was impossible for him to kill the daughter of the Cao clan openly. After all, he was not Leng Ruoxue, and he could not let the Yao clan be afraid of him. That was why he had taken the opportunity to say those words. Leng Ruoxue immediately understood. So this old man had said so much to kill with a borrowed knife? However, she didn't think of herself as a demoness who would kill without blinking. If that woman didn't provoke her, she wouldn't do anything. After making his intentions clear to the Qing clan head, the Qing clan head's smile became even more wretched. Shuai, based on my understanding of that adulterous couple, they will definitely take the initiative to provoke you. So, I'm just waiting for you to help me vent my anger. All right. Leng Ruoxue admitted. Although he was suspected of being used, this old man was so open and honest that it was impossible to hate him. Leng Ruoxue was a little depressed. After waiting for a few days, all the invited major forces had finally arrived. During the first full member meeting, Leng Ruoxue could clearly feel two pairs of eyes staring at her. One of them was extremely intense, while the other turned into countless daggers that were glaring at her. He looked in the direction of her gaze. A young man and woman were sitting diagonally above her. The man looked to be in his early 20s. When he saw Leng Ruoxue looking over, he even threw her a flirtatious look. The woman had a beautiful face and a cold temperament. At first glance, she looked very high-end and classy. Of course, the premise was that she did not sit on the man's lap in public as if no one was around. Shuai, they're the couple I was talking about. The Qing clan's clan head, who was sitting beside Leng Ruoxue, reminded her mischievously. You said he looks like my woman? Leng Ruoxue asked in surprise. Chapter 2957, The Twins, 22, Yes, I am. The Qing family head nodded. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. Which part of this woman resembled her? There was clearly something wrong with the Qing family head's eyes. However, regardless of whether there was something wrong with the Qing family head's eyes, that woman's hostility towards her was obvious. However, the current Leng Ruoxue didn't have the mood to deal with these women who were jealous of others. Hence, she directly ignored this woman. After they left, the major forces truly opened up and became more active. Before she left, Leng Ruoxue had already made it clear that they would only come and find her after they had finished discussing how to split the loot. Otherwise, they were not to bother her. However, the next day, the Cao family sent someone to invite Leng Ruoxue over, saying that Madame Yao wanted to meet her. When she heard the words Madame Yao, Leng Ruoxue was at a loss for a while. She didn't know any Madame Yao, nor did she know who wanted to see her. However, she wasn't free. After sending the waiter away, Leng Ruoxue thought that she could finally have some peace and quiet. Who knew that in less than half an hour, a beauty would take the initiative to come to her door? Miss Leng is really arrogant. The woman who spoke was the young lady of the Cao family. At this moment, her beautiful face was full of displeasure, and her tone was somewhat aggressive. Who are you? Leng Ruoxue raised her brows slightly and asked impatiently. I'm Chao Ling. The woman said, suppressing her anger. Oh. What's the matter? Leng Ruoxue's tone was calm, and she was frowning. Looking at the woman in front of her, she felt a wave of frustration in her heart. It seemed like old man Cheng was right. It's not a big deal. It's just that everyone is saying that I look like you, so I wanted to meet Miss Leng. I originally wanted to invite you to my place, but since you're not willing, I can only come here. Chao Ling explained helplessly. You're bored? Leng Ruoxue was even more speechless when she heard this. What was this woman's brain made of? If she took the initiative to come to the door to be abused, she would have to have the time and be willing. But now, she was obviously unwilling. Miss Leng, how can you say such things? Even though you are a publicly acknowledged expert, I am also the Yao family's madam. If you look down on me like this, aren't you not giving the Yao family face? Sensing Leng Ruoxia's impatience, Chao Ling couldn't hold it in any longer. With tears in her eyes, she scolded her angrily. So what if we don't give the Yao family face? Leng Ruoxia could not help but sneer. This woman really wanted to make a big splash on her head? You will regret this. Chao Ling said hatefully. Are you threatening me? Didn't the Yao family tell you that even your family head wouldn't dare to threaten me like this? Leng Ruoxia said calmly. The family head was just too lazy to lower himself to your level. Otherwise, how could you have jumped to where you are today? Chao Ling arrogantly shouted. I'll remember your words. When I have the chance, I'll personally ask the Yao family head if he really can't be bothered to lower himself to my level. Now, you, get lost immediately. Leng Ruoxia had lost her patience from the torture. She released her pressure and chased the guest away. Chao Ling's face turned pale instantly. She glared at Leng Ruoxia with hatred before turning around and running away. Hee. Little Shuai, have you experienced that woman's best? The Qing family head, who had been eavesdropping outside, said after Chao Ling left. Qing family head, please help me inform the various forces that I'm having a meeting now. Leng Ruoxia couldn't take it anymore after being provoked by this woman. Right now, she just wanted to quickly finish watching this so that she could return to Demon City. The Qing family head gladly did as he was told. After informing the representatives of the various forces, they collectively went to the conference hall. When all the factions had arrived, Leng Ruoxia went straight to the point. Everyone, since the CAO family invited us here, let's not disappoint them and waste everyone's time. Now, let's talk about the Ning family's position in the God domain that you've set your eyes on. Whether we can get it or not, it'll all depend on our martial strength. How about it? None of the representatives of the various major forces present had expected Leng Ruoxia to say such a thing, much less to think that she would be so anxious. Initially, everyone wanted to have a good discussion before making a decision. But now, Leng Ruoxia clearly wanted them to make a decision immediately. Thanks, Miss Leng, may I ask if Master Ning has really fallen? At this time, a representative couldn't help but ask. He had wanted to ask this question yesterday, but he didn't dare to. Don't you think it's a little too late to ask this now? Didn't you come here because you heard that my godfather had died and wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to get a share of the loot? So, stop talking nonsense and make a decision quickly. There must be a result today. Leng Ruoxia's voice was cold. As soon as she said this, the forces who had many questions did not dare to speak. Miss Leng, why are you in such a hurry? I think we need to think about this carefully. Seeing that the atmosphere had become stagnant, a man from the Yao family said with a faint smile. Who are you? Leng Ruoxia shot a cold glance at him and asked. I'm the grand elder of the Yao family. You can call me Brother Nan. Yao Nan looked at Leng Ruoxia with deep affection. I'm sorry, but I already have a brother. I don't need to acknowledge those messy brothers. Leng Ruoxia said, not giving him any face. Hearing this, Yao Nan's anger flared up. Many of the representatives present were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe. This was the rhythm of a battle. What a dangerous feeling. Many people couldn't help but distance themselves from the two dangerous individuals, Leng Ruoxia and Yao Nan. However, Yao Nan quickly suppressed his anger and smiled. I like women with personality. What does it have to do with me? Leng Ruoxia cursed calmly. Yao Nan was taken aback for a moment before revealing what he thought was a devilish smile. He nodded and said, You're indeed a little wild cat. The cat is here. Placing the cat in her arms on the table, Leng Ruoxia pointed at Azure. After turning back into his cat form, Azure meowed twice before turning his fiery eyes to Yao Nan. In his heart, Yao Nan was already a dead man. Damn it, he dared to tease his girl, he was looking for death. Looking at the little cat that was threatening him with its claws, Yao Nan was a little confused. At this moment, evildoer reached out and grabbed Sang's tail, causing Sang to cry out in pain. It reflexively pounced and landed right on Yao Nan's face. Sang ruthlessly clawed at it and landed safely on the ground. Arg! My face! Yao Nan's reaction was obviously slower by half a beat. He covered his face and screamed. Along with Yao Nan's scream, Zhang Ziyi calmly walked back to Leng Ruoxu's side. Girl, this damn demon is pulling my tail. After returning, Zhang immediately complained. When everyone saw this, they couldn't help but be speechless. This cat had scratched Yao Nan, so why were they being wronged? Oh right, its tail had been grabbed. However, no matter how painful it was, it couldn't be compared to Yao Nan's disfigurement. Although disfigurement was almost non-existent to gods, it still hurt. However, Leng Ruoxue and the rest obviously didn't care about Yao Nan's life or death. The Qin clan's clan head, who only cared about watching the show, couldn't wait for the Yao clan to be as unlucky as possible. Leng Ruoxue's heart ached as she helped Sang rub his tail. Then, she looked at the crowd and said sternly, "Now, tell me what you want. May I know what Miss Leng wants?" After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, one of the men gathered his courage and asked. He knew that they would not be able to escape this calamity today. "I don't want anywhere," Leng Ruoxue said honestly. It was a pity that no one was willing to believe her. They even thought that Leng Ruoxue was threatening them in disguise. In an instant, the entire place fell silent again. "I don't want anywhere. What are you doing here?" Suddenly, an angry female voice was heard. Everyone looked up and saw Chao Ling standing in the meeting room. "I'm here to watch the fun, is there a problem?" Leng Ruoxue asked back with a smile. Chapter 2958, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 1, Of course there's a problem. What do you think this place is? There's nothing exciting for you to see here. When Chao Ling heard Leng Ruoxue's words, she was so angry that her entire body was trembling. Never in her dreams would she have thought that Leng Ruoxue would be so shameless. Did she treat this place as her own home? You still want to watch the fun? Humph. She didn't believe that with so many forces present, they would really tolerate a woman watching them so brazenly. In reality, the reason why she thought this way was because she had never felt that Leng Ruoxue was as strong as the rumors made her out to be. She was just a woman. If she didn't have a powerful godfather, how could she be feared by others? Furthermore, now that Leng Ruoxue's godfather had passed away, the Ning family no longer existed. It was said that this woman had a great enmity with the Divine Master's estate. Hence, from Chao Ling's point of view, Leng Ruoxue's future was going to be difficult. In order to show her kindness, she even gave Leng Ruoxue a look of extreme sympathy, as if Leng Ruoxue was a N-generation rich man who had fallen from grace. In short, the current her was very sympathetic to Leng Ruoxue. She felt that the other party's strength was just an arrow at the end of its flight, while her own clan was currently rising. One could imagine how much sense of accomplishment and superiority Chao Ling had in front of Leng Ruoxue. Not only that, she also hated Leng Ruoxue. Previously, she had used Leng Ruoxue's name to add some glory to herself. But now, she felt that she no longer needed to use the reputation of a woman from a fallen family clan. With that, the real Leng Ruoxue had naturally become a thorn in her side. Previously, she had gone to look for Leng Ruoxue for a chat only because she wanted Leng Ruoxue to show off her sense of superiority. Who would have thought that Leng Ruoxue would not give her any face and even chase her out? This reality made her exceptionally angry. One had to know that this was her home now, and a guest actually dared to chase away the host. This was really disrespecting the host. Now, that woman had called for a meeting without permission. People from all the major forces had come, but no one had informed her. This was one of the reasons why she was angry. Chao Ling felt that she was not valued. After they arrived, Chao Ling was even angrier. She had been standing there for a while, but no one had noticed her. This was preposterous. Are these people blind? The furious Chao Ling wanted to find someone to back her up after saying those words. However, when she turned around, she saw Yao Nan on the ground, his hands covering his face in pain. Blood was seeping out from his fingers. She was so scared that her face turned pale. My dear. What's wrong with you? Then, a shrill scream was heard. Chao Ling rushed towards Yao Nan and helped him up. She then shouted at the crowd, "Are you all blind? Can't you see that the Grand Elder is injured?" When everyone heard this, they sat as steady as Mount Tai. There were even quite a few people who thought in their hearts, "That's your family's Grand Elder, not their family." More importantly, the one who had injured Yao Nan was Leng Ruox's cat. As such, they had to consider saving him. What if Leng Ruoxue was unhappy because of their help and she ordered the cat to scratch them again? Thinking of the cat's shiny claws, everyone couldn't help but shiver. The Yao family couldn't afford to offend them, but Leng Ruoxue was even more so. In a situation where they were all tigers, a tigress was obviously more threatening. Everyone sat still and did not dare to move. They would steal glances at Leng Ruoxue from time to time. As for Leng Ruoxue, under the gazes of countless people, she was as calm as ever. She even leisurely combed Tsang's hair. Thanks, Tsang was lying comfortably on Leng Ruox's legs, his sharp eyes occasionally scanning the crowd in the hall. Instantly, those people were so scared that they sat up straight and didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Thinking of this, many forces regretted coming to the Cao family. Although the Ning family's divine realm was indeed tempting, one had to be alive to enjoy it. After waiting for a long time, Chao Ling saw that no one came forward to help. The anger in her heart rushed to her head. She was so angry that she was about to explode. These people really did not know how to take the opportunity to show off. Why did they not know how to help? Chao Ling was furious. She even decided that if these forces needed her help in the future, she would definitely not put in a good word for them. After making up her mind, Chao Ling no longer looked at the forces with anger in her eyes. Instead, there was a plain sympathy. Yes. Sympathy. Now, she was confident of her extraordinary status, so she always liked to look down at others to show her superiority. Of course, this sense of superiority was only in her own imagination. Everyone present knew what her identity was, so although they showed respect to her on the surface, they actually looked down on her in their hearts. She's just a concubine, does she really think she's a queen? Although they thought this way, no one knew what Chao Ling was thinking. Otherwise, they would not have sat still under Chao Ling's gaze. However, Leng Ruoxu understood Chao Ling's thoughts because Tsang had already told her everything. After she heard it, she couldn't help but burst out laughing. This woman was too outrageous. Leng Ruoxu's laughter also made Chao Ling very unhappy. After that, Chao Ling turned her attention back to Leng Ruoxue and shouted, "Leng Ruoxue, do you have any sympathy at all? Brother Nan is already injured to this extent. I really don't have any sympathy. So, what does your brother Nan's injury have to do with me? You can't possibly want me to mourn for him with you, right? Don't worry, on the day he really dies, he'll go to his grave and burn incense for the Yao family's sake." Leng Ruoxue said calmly. What? You don't understand what I'm saying. I just said that when your brother Nan is really dead, I will go to his grave to burn incense. Do you understand now? Leng Ruoxue looked at Chao Ling sympathetically and repeated her words. How audacious. You actually cursed Brother Nan to die. Do you know who Brother Nan is? This time, Chao Ling finally exploded. Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue smiled calmly and said, "This is considered cursing? All right. Then I'll curse him. Also, I don't care who your brother Nan is. I don't want to know." You. After Leng Ruoxue finished her sentence, Chao Ling was so angry that she could not speak. As for Tsang and evildoer, he couldn't help but laugh wildly. At this moment, Chao Ling turned her gaze to the man and the beast. At first glance, she was shocked. Of course, the only thing that amazed her was his evilness. As for Tsang, he was so cute that any woman would want to have him. Chapter 2959, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 2, Chao Ling stared at the man and the beast without blinking. Her heart was full of doubts. Why did she only just discover this beautiful man and cute little beast? She felt that she could not forgive her own carelessness. The truth was that evildoer and Tsang had both lowered their presence. Chao Ling's eyes were on Yao Nan and Leng Ruoxue, so she naturally ignored the existence of the man and beast. But now, the man and the beast laughed out loud. Not only did they attract Chao Ling's attention, but they also attracted everyone's attention. Actually, when they heard Leng Ruoxue and Chao Ling's meaningless conversation, they also wanted to laugh. However, they did not have the guts to do so. After all, whether it was offending Leng Ruoxue or the Yao family behind Chao Ling, they didn't want either of them. As such, they could only pretend to be invisible. You evil man, this woman has taken a fancy to you. Suddenly, the smiling Azure said with a gloating expression. The person she likes is you. The demon said very calmly. When they heard this conversation, everyone suddenly felt that they had heard a big secret that they shouldn't have. They didn't know if they would be killed, so all of them were so scared that their faces turned pale. PNDNO1. Everyone silently looked at Yao Nan, who had fainted from the pain, and they all sympathized with him. AI. An ignorant man is the happiest. He didn't even know that he was being cuckolded. However, the crowd didn't understand. Wasn't it just a cat scratching their face? Why did he faint? Wasn't this supreme elder of the Yao family a little too weak? At this moment, the weak Yao family grand elder received everyone's sympathy, and so did evildoer and Tsang. One had to know that if one was entangled by the daughter of the Cao family, even if they didn't die, they would be skinned. This was a common understanding among the major forces. Perhaps their gloating expressions were too obvious, but Tsang coldly snorted impatiently. Then, he turned his dark eyes to Chao Ling and asked, "Do you want to have me?" Everyone was silent. Wasn't this too direct? Leng Ruoxue was speechless. The demon leaned close to Leng Ruoxue's ear and whispered in a volume that everyone could hear, "I'm still the most loyal. Look at this stinky cat, it has decided to betray you. Hurry up and give him to that woman." Everyone was silent again. "Sir, do you have to sound so excited?" It was as if he had gotten rid of a burden. It had to be said that everyone knew the truth. Evildoer was dragging Tsang down openly. However, Tsang did not care. He just glanced at evildoer and turned his gaze back to Chao Ling. At this moment, Chao Ling could tell that the man and the beast were not on good terms. She took the initiative to talk to them. "If you're willing to follow me, I can naturally accept you. Listen, it's receiving." For the third time, everyone mourned for Chao Ling's art of speaking. This woman was beyond saving. Subconsciously, everyone chose to stay away from the woman's sphere of influence, so that they wouldn't be affected if they started fighting. They would never be willing to become innocent cannon fodder. "Thank you, but I don't need you to accept me." Tsang politely refused. What do you mean?" Chao Ling, who felt that she had been played, shouted angrily. "Thanks, then why are you asking me if I want you?" Chao Linghua roared. "What, I can't even ask." Tsang was even more aggrieved, tears welling up in his eyes as if they were about to fall at any moment. Instantly, everyone was shocked. Fuck. Did it have to be so scary? In their eyes, Tsang didn't look as domineering as he did when he was scratching people. Right now, it was as weak and helpless as a little beast that had been frightened by an evil person. This was why everyone was even more afraid. According to the information they had received, the beasts that Leng Ruoxue should never provoke were rabbits, cats, and Totoro. No. Chao Ling was very sure that she had been played. "I've already asked." Sang Chi reminded him and grinned. "So, you must belong to me." Chao Ling roared domineeringly. Are you trying to rob me? Sung asked fearfully. Then, he snuggled even deeper into Ling Ruoxiu's arms as if he had received a huge shock. Hearing this, Chao Ling was stunned. Then, she nodded her head vigorously. Right. Since you're not satisfied with your master, then quickly come into my arms. Hearing Chao Ling's words, everyone could not help but complain. He didn't say that he was dissatisfied with his master. I'm just asking you if you want it, and you can't even do that. At that moment, everyone had a deep understanding of Chao Ling's dominance. At the same time, they also knew who she was relying on. But at this moment, Chao Ling's backer was still lying on the ground unconscious. Is it really good for you to go out like this? I didn't say that I'm not satisfied with my current master, I'm just asking if you want me, Azure said, feeling wronged. I said, don't ask. Chao Ling saw that Sung had no intention of surrendering, and her anger rose. Woo! Master, save me. I really just wanted to ask her, I didn't want to betray my master. Seeing that Chao Ling was so overbearing, Sung directly asked for help. In order to show that it was really a little beast that was persecuted, it even dripped gold beans, which was a luxury. When Ling Ruoxua saw this, she was even more annoyed. She couldn't help but think in her heart, Sung, do you have to play so big? If he didn't like it, he could have just killed it, why put on such a show? Even though Ling Ruoxua didn't quite understand what Sung wanted to do, she still cooperated and said unhappily, I know. I will handle this matter. After she finished speaking, Ling Ruoxua turned her beautiful eyes to Chao Ling. She said calmly and unhappily, Miss Chao, what do you mean by openly snatching my beastie? Could it be that the Cao and Yao families have taught you this? Ling Ruoxua, I'm doing this for your little beastie's own good. It clearly doesn't want to stay by your side anymore, or it wouldn't be interested in me. Seeing that Ling Ruoxua seemed to be angry, Chao Ling was in a good mood and continued to sow discord. Miss Chao, you said that my little beastie is interested in you. Is it because it asked you that question? Ling Ruoxua asked, pretending to be confused. Of course. Chao Ling nodded and felt proud. Can I say that you're overthinking things? Ling Ruoxua was rather direct. That's right. The crowd couldn't help but give Ling Ruoxua a thumbs up. Chao Ling didn't think that she was overthinking things. It was the little beast that had expressed its intention to leave Ling Ruoxua, so how could she say that she was overthinking things? Chapter 2960, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 3, You don't understand your beastie's mind. It obviously doesn't like you anymore. Chao Ling argued. Miss Chao, I'd like to know how your brain works. Ling Ruoxua sighed and said helplessly. Chao Ling did not understand and could not help but ask, Ling Ruoxua, what do you mean by this? I'm calling you a weirdo. Your brother Nan has already fainted, but you didn't say that you were going to give him a healing pill. Instead, you are here to snatch little beastie from me. I really don't know what you are thinking. Isn't this grand elder of the Yao family your backer? If he dies, what will you do? What about your Chao family? Can it still be so glorious? At this moment, Ling Ruoxua couldn't bear to see Chao Ling's actions. Otherwise, she wouldn't have reminded her that there was an unconscious Yao Nan on the ground waiting to be rescued. Of course, it wasn't that she was kind-hearted, but the Yao family was clearly very important and had a very high status among the various powers. Thus, without Yao Nan's participation, the show wouldn't be as lively. When Chao Ling heard Ling Ruoxiu's words, she finally remembered Yao Nan's existence. She glared at Ling Ruoxua before slowly and painfully taking out a healing pill and stuffing it into Yao Nan's mouth. Upon seeing this, Ling Ruoxua felt a little sympathy for Yao Nan. He had heard from the Cheng family head that the grand elder of the Yao family doted on Chao Ling so much. Why was Chao Ling so reluctant to give away a healing elixir? Wasn't that just an ordinary healing pill? The food that her beastie did not want to eat was obviously a rare thing to Chao Ling. It had to be said that Ling Ruoxua was right. Healing medicinal pills were such a high-end item. Perhaps only she could treat it with a normal heart. After all, for most people, healing medicinal pills were absolutely something that could only be encountered by luck. Even if it was just an ordinary one, the price was also not cheap. Therefore, generally speaking, if it was a small injury, not many people would be willing to take a healing medicinal pill. At that moment, Yao Nan's injuries were not that serious in Chao Ling's eyes. After all, he did not lose any arms or legs. He would recover after some rest. However, she was a prideful person, especially in front of so many people. She couldn't possibly abandon Yao Nan just because she couldn't bear to part with a healing pill, right? Not to mention the fact that she hadn't found a more powerful man to rely on. Even if she did, it wouldn't be a day for her to abandon Yao Nan. Therefore, she knew that she couldn't afford to offend Yao Nan. After all, she couldn't afford to offend the Yao family. In this world, other than the Divine Master's estate, only the Ning family was more powerful than the Yao family. But now, the Ning family had been completely annihilated, so she naturally had no chance to seduce the Ning family. As for the Divine Master's residence, she couldn't afford to offend him. This man was clearly a pretty boy who relied on women. Therefore, she deeply felt that it was absolutely impossible to find a devilish man as a backer. Perhaps, that devilish man would still have to rely on her to support him. As such, she felt even more strongly that she couldn't afford to offend Yao Nan, who was a rare and doting backer. The demon who received this signal instantly understood the woman's thoughts. He suddenly felt like thousands of horses were running wildly in his heart. This feeling of wanting to kill someone, how could he get rid of it? The demon was extremely angry. He felt that he had been humiliated. Thanks. Lin Ruoxue gave the evildoer a consoling look, telling him to calm down. At this moment, Yao Nan, who had taken a healing pill, finally woke up. Standing up unsteadily, Yao Nan removed his hand from his face and the crowd immediately saw the claw marks on his face. Instantly, the urge to laugh was stuck in their throats, and they couldn't help but shiver. However, Yao Nan didn't seem to be aware of it. He only glared at Sung, who was pretending to be innocent, and wanted to tear this damned cat into pieces. Arg! Brother Nan, you... Chao Ling also noticed the claw marks on Yao Nan's face and exclaimed. However, her words were not clear, so Yao Nan did not receive any strange signals. He saw Chao Ling lowering her head as if she was frightened. He hugged Chao Ling and comforted her. Ling don't be afraid. I'm fine now. Chao Ling wanted to say, I'm not worried about you. I'm just worried about your face. After being Yao Nan's woman for a while, she knew how much Yao Nan cared about his pretty face. Now, afraid of Yao Nan's anger, Chao Ling didn't even dare to tell him. According to past experience, whoever said that would be unlucky. Therefore, she could only remain silent. And if she didn't say anything, no one else would. Therefore, Yao Nan was completely kept in the dark. After consoling Chao Ling, Yao Nan turned to Lin Ruoxue with a bright smile on his face. Sister Shui, hand over the cat. Please don't call me little sister Shui. Lin Ruoxue was the first to correct him. At the same time, she felt disgusted. Meanwhile, Chao Ling glared at Lin Ruoxue with a face full of jealousy. She had already cursed Lin Ruoxue to death in her heart. Damn it, she actually dared to snatch her man. She really didn't want to live. Chao Ling was filled with hatred. Even though she didn't care much about Yao Nan, she still enjoyed his pampering. Therefore, she would never allow another woman to snatch him away from her before she had the intention to let go. This was definitely a huge taboo for her. Because of this, her hatred towards Lin Ruoxue had increased. As for Lin Ruoxue, her heart was filled with anger at how much hatred Yao Nan had caused her. In fact, she was the most innocent one, okay? The two of you, can you not have such blatant ideas about her and the demon? However, she had to continue watching the show, so she didn't intend to fall out with him immediately. Alright. Shui, hand over the cat. Yao Nan calmly changed his words. He even felt that Lin Ruoxue was to his liking. He liked women with such character. Brother Chin Nan, you are so kind. You knew that I wanted this cat and you helped me to get it. I love you so much. Chao Ling suddenly interjected. She had already sensed Yao Nan's interest in Leng Ruoxue, which was why she didn't mind showing off her intimacy with Yao Nan in front of the crowd. It was all for Leng Ruoxue to see. Who knew that Leng Ruoxue didn't care at all? Everyone felt that it was melodramatic. There was the rhythm of a battle earlier. What were they trying to do now? Furthermore, all they saw was Chao Ling running around blindly by herself. Leng Ruoxue did not feel anything at all. Chapter 2961, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 4. However, after hearing Chao Ling's words, Yao Nan naturally had to respond. He said, since Ling likes this cat, I'll give it to you. The conversation between the two of them made it seem as though Tsang was already in their hands. This made everyone, including Leng Ruoxue, speechless. However, Leng Ruoxue remained silent, mainly because she couldn't be bothered to respond to this. Shuer, give me this cat. You know why I want it. After showing off his love for Chao Ling, he continued to look at Leng Ruoxue affectionately. Please don't call me Shuer. Leng Ruoxue felt like puking and continued to correct him. Then what should I call you? Yao Nan asked dumbly. Please call me Miss Leng. Leng Ruoxue reminded. How can we do that? It's outsiders who call her Miss Leng, I can't call her that. Yao Nan firmly opposed. Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue felt that the number of alpacas running wildly in her heart had increased by quite a bit. The crowd could not help but start to ridicule again. Xiansen, do you think you're his wife? In fact, I'm afraid you're not even as good as an outsider. So, can we not be so delusional? The onlookers couldn't stand it anymore. Many of the people present were seeing Yao Nan for the first time, so they were very surprised. One had to know that those who dared to take advantage of Leng Ruoxue in such a blatant manner, other than Yao Nan, who was still alive and kicking, the others were probably already dead. It was precisely because of this that they were extremely impressed by Yao Nan's guts. He had heard that Yao Nan had been in closed-door cultivation all this time. Had he lost his mind? The crowd glanced at Yao Nan emotionlessly and lowered their presence once more. They had a feeling that today's fight was inevitable. However, they did not know why Leng Ruoxue had yet to make a move. Please call me Miss Leng or Madam Yi. After a while, Leng Ruoxue gritted her teeth. She felt that it was a waste of her brain cells to talk to Yao Nan, but if she didn't correct him, he would probably pass away. Madam Yi? Yao Nan said loudly, as if he had just heard something sensational. You want my cat? Leng Ruoxue directly took the other party's question as a form of address and continued to ask. Yes, leave it to me. I want to teach it a good lesson. Yao Nan nodded his head like a puppet. He couldn't let such a dangerous beast stay with the woman he liked. After he was done teaching it a lesson, he would give it to Ling Er. Alright, here you go. Leng Ruoxue threw Tsang over to Yao Nan and didn't care anymore. Seeing her like this, the servants present were deeply puzzled. However, they didn't say anything and continued to pretend to be invisible. After being grabbed by Yao Nan, Tsang's eyes were filled with tears as he looked at Yao Nan pitifully and pleaded, Don't kill me. I didn't mean to scratch you. Don't worry, I won't kill you. Ling Er still wants you. After I get my revenge, I'll give you to her. Yao Nan laughed proudly. I know I'm wrong. Can you not teach me a lesson? Azure asked, choking with emotion. No. I've lived for so long and I've never been scratched by a cat before, so I won't let you off. Yao Nan roared in anger. He had lost a lot of face today, so he had to show off in front of everyone. At the same time, he had to show Leng Ruoxue his domineering side. Alright. I know it's all my fault, and I'm in no position to stop you, but can we change to a place with no one else? I'll be shy in front of so many people. Azure continued to beg pitifully, but the words that came out of his mouth made everyone's hearts tremble. At that moment, everyone was thinking in unison, what is this cat trying to do? Thanks, Leng Ruoxue did not dare to look directly at this strange scene. Anyone would be shy. Let's go somewhere else, okay? Azure said with a shy smile. Not good. I'm going to take care of you in public. Yao Nan roared. How could he show off his might in a place with no one around? How could he make Leng Ruoxue admire his dominance? I see. Then don't you regret it? Song was helpless and could only follow Yao Nan's lead. Humph. What do I have to regret? Yao Nan laughed maniacally as he took out a rope and tied Sung up like a dumpling. He held the other end of the rope in his hand and swung it around in the air. Silly cat. Let's see if you still dare to scratch me in the future. Yao Nan shouted as he flung the whip. Sung closed his eyes and ignored Yao Nan. He acted as if he was playing on the swing. Seeing this, Yao Nan became angry and his hands moved even faster. Sung, on the other hand, seemed to enjoy it even more. After a long time, Yao Nan realized that something was wrong and his movements also slowed down. Damn it! He was punishing the cat, but the cat was enjoying it. What the hell is this? Yao Nan was furious. Sung Zi opened his eyes in dissatisfaction and asked, why did you stop? Increase your speed. You, Yao Nan trembled in anger. He raised his hand and was about to throw the rope away when Sung saw this and grabbed onto Yao Nan's clothes, pinning him to the ground. Damn it! Get the hell out of here! Yao Nanhua roared. He could already feel the other party's sharp claws piercing into his flesh. I don't want it, you said you wanted mine. You can't abandon him after you've abused him. Blue said he couldn't die, so in order to stabilize his center of gravity, his claws hooked down a little more. Ah! Yao Nan cried out in pain. Everyone was shocked by the shriek. In their eyes, the cat was just scratching Yao Nan's clothes. Was there a need to shriek so loudly? Where did Yao Nan's domineering aura go? At this moment, Leng Ruoxue patted her clothes and stood up. She smiled and said, let's end today's meeting here. Go back and think about what territory you want. You have to give me an answer. After saying this, she pulled the demon and the others away. When the crowd saw Leng Ruoxue's sudden reaction, they couldn't react in time. By the time they regained their senses and wanted to say something, she had already left. What? What was going on? She was the one who called for a meeting. She was also the one who told them to make an immediate decision. Now, she was the one who left again. What kind of trouble is this? Even though everyone was suspicious, they did not dare to think that Leng Ruoxue was playing with them. They could only say that a woman's heart was like a needle in the ocean. No one could guess what a woman was thinking. After that, the other factions quickly left. In the large meeting room, only Yao Nan, Chao Ling, and Sung were left. Chapter 2962, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 5. After Leng Ruoxue and the others left the meeting hall, they returned to their residence. Not long after, the Qin clan head caught up to them and stayed in Leng Ruoxue's residence. He looked at Leng Ruoxue in confusion and did not say anything. Leng Ruoxue felt her hair stand on end under the Qin clan head's gaze. She asked helplessly, Clan head Qing, is there something you need? Shuer, can you tell me about it? What are you thinking? When you asked me to inform the various forces for a meeting, I thought you would go on a killing spree. Who knew that the thunder would be loud and the rain would be light? What was this? AI. I'm so disappointed. The Qing family head couldn't bear it anymore and poured out all the doubts in his heart. Qing family head, before I wanted to let the forces make a decision immediately and then leave, but now I changed my mind. The main reason is that Blue said it hasn't played enough, so he asked me to give it a few more days. When it's done, we can discuss this matter. Leng Ruoxue explained with a faint smile. Then you really don't want the Ning family's territory? The Qing family head asked again. I don't want to. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Little girl, have you forgotten the old man's advice before we came? The Qing family head couldn't help but remind him. I didn't forget. Leng Ruoxue replied honestly. And you still dare to not take it? The Qing family's head was speechless. Was this girl mentally prepared to suffer the anger of old man Ning? Originally, it was already infuriating enough that the territory was going to be divided. The only goddaughter who had hope of fighting for it didn't help. Could this old man of the Ning family take this blow? I wanted to ask for some, but I changed my mind. Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Why did you change your mind? The Qing family head didn't understand. I just think that whatever these people have taken from the Ning family, they will definitely return it back in double in the future, so I'll just rent these lands to them for interest. Do you think I still need to fight with them for it? Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly. Ah. Hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, the Qing family's head immediately came to a realization. How could this girl let old man Ning suffer a loss? So this was her plan. No wonder she wasn't worried at all. But in this case, shouldn't he change his original plan of helping the Ning family get some territory? Little girl, hearing you say that, I also think that this idea is not bad. The Qing family's head was full of praise, and then asked, is there still space in Demon City? What do you want to do? Leng Ruoxue asked warily. Nothing. I just want to stay at your place for a while. The Qing family head said with a charming smile. There's no more space. Leng Ruoxue said directly. Ah. Little girl, don't be like this. Seeing how Leng Ruoxue rejected him so directly, the Qing family head was rather depressed. However, he also knew that this girl must have discovered his little thoughts. But he had no other choice. For those who were close to old man Ning, who didn't know that the divine realm wasn't peaceful? Who would not know that Demon City was the safest place in the current divine realm? Thanks. Upon hearing this, Qing Xian, who was sitting on the side like a wallflower, broke out in cold sweat. Even he felt that the old ancestor was really too shameless at this moment. Although the divine realm was not as safe as before, it was not to the extent that he had said, right? Moreover, who would curse their descendants to die just to stay in Demon City? Of course, he really didn't care if the Qing family members were all dead. In fact, he really hoped that some of the Qing family members were dead. However, as one of the Qing family's descendants, Qing Xian felt strange when he heard his ancestors say such words in front of him. Please forgive him for not being able to accept this. I can only give you a place that can accommodate 100 people. Seeing that the Qing clan head had already put it this way, Leng Ruoxue did not refute him too much this time. Seeing that his goal had been achieved, the Qing family head hurriedly nodded and said, it's enough, it's enough. In reality, this had already exceeded his expectations. After all, he thought that with Leng Ruoxue's cold temperament, it would be good enough if she could give him a small courtyard. He never thought that she would arrange for 100 people to go over. He was already satisfied. After sitting for a while, the Qing family head took Qing Xian and left. After the Qing family's grandfather and grandson left, Uncle Long smiled faintly. This old man is quite cunning. I'm afraid that's his main purpose in coming to Demon City this time. That's normal. The Qing family head has always had a good relationship with Godfather, so he must know more than others. It's understandable for him to have such thoughts. More importantly, for the sake of Godfather, I can't turn away all the Qing family members. He knows this, so he doesn't ask for much. Leng Ruoxue said. In fact, before she came, her godfather had implicitly mentioned this matter to her and guessed that there must be something important for the Qing family's master to visit this time. However, at that time, her godfather did not ask her to agree to the Qing family's master's request, but she knew that her godfather definitely did not want her old friend's family to be completely annihilated. And once she chose to fight with Wu Chen, anything was possible. In addition, a place with 100 people was nothing to her. At the same time, it was really not much for a top power like the Qing family, but it was enough for the Qing family to preserve their strength. After all, she couldn't accept all the Qing family members like she accepted the Ning family. In this way, she could also have an explanation to her godfather. After the Qing clan had brought Qing Xian back to his residence, he sat on a chair in his room and fell into deep thought. Qing Xian, who was at the side, did not dare to disturb the old ancestor at all and stood obediently by his side. After a long time. Xian, you decide on the list of 100 people. Clan Master Qing said slowly. Old ancestor. Qing Xian was shocked and looked at the old ancestor in disbelief. Why did the old ancestor have a solemn expression as if he was leaving behind his last words? What was he supposed to do? Make a good choice. In the future, these Qing family members will be your left and right arms. The Qing family head said as he looked at his most beloved descendant. Old ancestor, the matter isn't that serious yet, is it? There's a need to, Qing Xian couldn't continue. He had always believed in his ancestor's sensitivity, but he really didn't want such a thing to happen. Xian, although things haven't reached that stage yet, it's never wrong to take early precautions. In the future, if such a day really comes, you must follow Shuai'er's lead. Do you understand? The Qing family's head warned with a worried expression. In fact, he didn't feel that he was nervous. From the Ning family's capture, he had already seen a trace of abnormality. After having a deep conversation with the Ning family's old man, he felt even more that he should make early preparations to avoid being blinded by the dark. Chapter 2963, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 6, AI. He was just a coward. In short, it was not bad to take precautions against such things. At least, when death was near, the Qing family's bloodline would still continue. And the heir he had chosen had a good relationship with that little girl Shuai'er. With that, he would be at ease even if he were to fall. After this matter is over, you'll stay in Demon City. Don't return to the Qing family. The head of the Qing family continued. After hearing the old ancestor's words, Qing Xian could only nod in shock, but he definitely did not feel good. The old ancestor's expression clearly showed that he had sensed danger, but the old ancestor did not allow him to participate. This feeling was really terrible. Give me the list of names you've chosen later, and go back to your room now. I want to be alone for a while. After the Qing family had finished his warning, he began to drive them away. Qing Xian had no choice but to leave. That night, the representatives of the forces living in the Ning family's main residence all heard a tragic scream. The scream was a little familiar, but none of them dared to act rashly. The next morning, other than Leng Ruoxue and the rest who were not affected at all, many people who did not sleep well had dark circles under their eyes and were extremely dispirited. However, Leng Ruoxue naturally did not know about this. She only knew that Sung hadn't had enough fun, so she had to stay here for a few more days. However, in the past few days, neither Yao Nan nor Chao Ling had the chance to disturb her. She was quite satisfied with this result. Unfortunately, Leng Ruoxue's thoughts were too optimistic. She also felt that both Yao Nan and Chao Ling should be able to last longer under Tsang's demonic claws. Who knew that in less than 3 days, the two of them would come looking for her? Everyone sat in the living room and looked at the man and woman, whose faces and bodies were covered in claw marks. They were speechless and didn't know what to say. Senior Tsang's bad taste is getting more and more serious. These two people's bodies were covered in so many marks that it was simply dizzying. More importantly, some of the claw marks on Yao Nan and Chao Ling's bodies were bleeding. Everyone was rather puzzled. Why didn't these two people know to take a healing pill? Was it really a good idea to scare them so brazenly? Woo! Miss Leng, please quickly bring your cat back. Before the crowd could even think of what to say, Yao Nan had already started wailing and begging. He had almost choked on his sobs several times, causing the crowd to offer him some tears of sympathy. It's your cat. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Yao Nan was dumbfounded. How was he going to break this? That's obviously yours. At this moment, Chao Ling couldn't help but shout. Her small body was trembling uncontrollably. She was obviously frightened. Of course it was mine at the beginning. Didn't you guys take it away? Leng Ruoxue said it as a matter of course. Yes, I took it back then, so I'll return it to you now. Yao Nan said immediately. You want it and you want to return it, what do you take me for? What do you think my cat is? Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but sneer. How could there be such a beautiful thing in this world? Do you really think that the divine realm revolves around you? And now, she was going to tell this couple that there was no way. Thanks, Wu. I know I'm wrong. Yao Nan's intestines turned green with regret. This wasn't a cat. He clearly wanted an ancestor. My cat seemed to have said the same thing before, but you didn't give it a chance. So, I won't give you a chance now. Be good, go and bond with my cat. You two will definitely get along well. Leng Ruoxue advised with a smile. Don't. We can't get along, really. Please take it back. I can't take it even if I'm here. Yao Nan begged, but Leng Ruoxue was unmoved. The demon laughed and pointed at Chao Ling. You could have given that damn cat to this woman. She's been coveting that cat. That's right. Uncle Long and the others also nodded. Hearing this, Yao Nan immediately turned to look at Chao Ling. Chao Ling trembled in fear and waved her hands. No, Brother Nan, I don't want it anymore. Haven't you been tormented enough for the past 2 days? How could she still dare to have any ideas about that cat? If one of you didn't want it, then why did you eat it? I'm telling you, you have to have that cat no matter what. Leng Ruoxue looked at Yao Nan and Chao Ling as she spoke in a cold voice. When the demon and the others heard this, they all laughed very happily. Yao Nan, on the other hand, wished he could just faint. In the end, Leng Ruoxue saw that they were annoyed and directly asked Uncle Long to throw them out. Unfortunately, just as the two of them fell to the ground, Tsang's little claws were already on their heads. Then, Tsang grinned. Where did you guys go? I've been looking for you guys for a long time. Hearing this sound, the two of them directly fainted and wished they could never wake up again. However, while the wish was beautiful, reality was cruel. The two of them eventually woke up from the pain, and without anyone knowing, Tsang forced Yao Nan to take him to the Yao family. Even though Yao Nan had no other choice, he still agreed to it. In his mind, once the cat reached the Yao family, it would be a lost cause. When Leng Ruoxue found out about this news, she could only feel endless sympathy for the Yao family. If the old man of the Yao family knew about this, he would be so depressed. With Yao Nan's departure, the Yao family's affairs here were handed over to an elder. Leng Ruoxue did not hesitate to inform all the major factions to hold a meeting immediately. After they sat down in the meeting hall, the head of the Cheng clan was the first to rush over. Naturally, he sat beside Leng Ruoxue. After all the influential people had arrived, the Qin clan's clan head looked around before he looked at Leng Ruoxue with a gossipy expression and asked, Where are Yao Nan and Chao Ling? She wouldn't be dead, would she? No, they took Tsang back to the Yao family. When Leng Ruoxue heard this, her forehead was full of black lines. At the same time, she could not help but mutter, Clan head Cheng, how much do you wish for these two to die? Oh. The Qing family's head pretended to be calm and nodded, but in his heart, he was laughing so hard that he couldn't keep up. It's good to go back to the Yao family. Now, the Yao family was guaranteed to be very lively, but it was unknown how depressed the old man of the Yao family, who was rumored to have been in seclusion, would be when he came out and saw the Yao family's miserable state. He was suddenly filled with anticipation. He was looking forward to it, but he didn't want to hear their conversation. However, the Yao family elder, who had heard it clearly, was quite dissatisfied with this and couldn't bear it anymore. He shouted in public, Patriarch Cheng, I respect you as a powerhouse of this generation. How can you do this? Chapter 2964, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 7, How am I? The head of the Cheng family innocently blinked his eyes and asked with a puzzled expression. How could you curse our grand elder to die? A certain elder roared with righteous indignation. Did I? I'm just guessing, so please don't accuse me wrongly. Otherwise, I'll sue you. The Qing family head said angrily, but in his heart, he was thinking, this Yao family elder's reflex arc is really long. He must have said that a while ago. In fact, the reason why this Yao family elder's reaction was a little slow was mainly because he was hesitating whether he should go against the Qing family head because of this matter. After all, the Qing family head's status was quite extraordinary. After thinking for a long time, he felt that although the Supreme Elder wasn't present, he couldn't lose the Yao family's face. Thus, he bravely went to find the Qing family head. However, the Qing family head naturally wouldn't stoop to the level of a little fellow. Hence, after scaring the other party, he turned to Leng Ruoxue and said, "Shuai, can we start the meeting now?" Leng Ruoxue smiled and nodded. She then turned to the crowd and asked, "Now, tell me the territory you want." All the forces present looked at each other and were unhappy with Leng Ruoxue's overbearing attitude. It had only been a few days. Just let them decide. Was this really bullying? Seeing them like this, Leng Ruoxue gave an understanding smile and said, "What, you still haven't decided?" Everyone nodded. "If that's the case, then I won't care about this matter anymore. I'll let the Cao and Yao families decide." Seeing them like this, Leng Ruoxue's smile became even more affable. Her sudden decision to not care about the matter also caused everyone to be stunned on the spot. It could be said that the crowd was not prepared for this at all. Logically speaking, among the various factions, Demon City, where Leng Ruoxue was from, was definitely the most powerful. However, it was clear that she had the intention to withdraw, but this caused everyone to be at a loss. What was the meaning of this? Was there a conspiracy? "Miss Leng, are you really not going to care anymore?" Some representatives didn't believe him and asked boldly after they recovered from their shock. "I don't care, you guys can do whatever you want," Leng Ruoxue said calmly. "You really don't want any of the Ning family's divine domain?" The elder of the Yao family couldn't help but ask. "Didn't I say no? This used to be Godfather's territory, but now, this place has only left me with some bad memories." Leng Ruoxue deliberately cut in half and put on a sorrowful expression. Instantly, most of the people believed her. That's right. The entire Ning family had been annihilated. It was said that they had died in a rather miserable manner. It was no wonder that Leng Ruoxue had no interest in this place. To her, this place was filled with painful memories. Everyone's imagination was running wild as they filled in the gaps. It could be said that Leng Ruoxue's reaction had allowed them to let down their guard. At the same time, it had also caused even more factions to stir. After leaving the Ning family's divine territory, Leng Ruoxue and the rest returned to the city of evil demons. The legendary Ning family member was with them. They had found Master Ning in the Cao family's residence. After arriving in Demon City, he would naturally hand the matter over to his godfather. However, Master Ning definitely didn't expect Shuai and the others to come back so quickly. After seeing them, his eyes widened, and his face was full of surprise. "Shuai, why are you back so quickly?" Leng Ruoxue and the rest had just entered the garden, and before they could find a place to sit down, Master Ning's question reached their ears. "Yes, we finished our business, so we came back first." Leng Ruoxue laughed. "Then which bastard has divided up the Ning family's territory?" Master Ning asked angrily. "Thanks, you don't know." "Shuai, didn't you just come back from there?" Master Ning was confused. "We just came back from there, but we didn't participate in this matter," Leng Ruoxue said honestly. Master Ning was dumbfounded. If they didn't participate, wouldn't they have gone for nothing? "Old man Ning," Shuai said that with us there, those forces will definitely not be able to relax, so in order not to disturb the elegance of those little guys, we came back first. Uncle Long added with an evil smile. Ah. Master Ning didn't know what to say. This wasn't what he had expected. "Godfather, don't worry. Where is the Qing family's head? Hell, let us know if there's any sign of trouble." Seeing that her godfather seemed to have suffered a blow, Len Ruoshua quickly consoled him. Shuai, when you left, didn't you say? Master Ning only finished half of his sentence before he looked at Len Ruoshua with hidden bitterness. Godfather, the Ning family's divine realm is of no use in my hands. Len Ruoshua replied honestly. Master Ning was speechless. At this moment, in order to coax her godfather, Len Ruoshua personally dragged Master Ning out and threw him on the ground. Who is he? Master Ning said to the stranger in front of him. I'm from the Ning family. Len Ruoshua laughed. But I don't know him. Master Ning looked at it carefully for a long time before finally confirming it. It seemed that this person didn't recognize him either. Because that Ning family member looked at him with an unfamiliar expression. It's right that you don't know her. This is someone the Cao family invited to put on a show to fool everyone. Len Ruoshua exposed the other party's true identity. Ah. Why are there so many things happening these days? Master Ning was speechless. He understood what Shuai meant. This guy was the product of the Cao family's greed, a fake Ning family member. I've been living in peace for too long, so I want to make a scene. Len Ruoshua was very clear about this. Master Ning deeply agreed, and then looked at the crowd and couldn't help but ask, where's Senior Song? Didn't he come back with you? I gave it away. Len Ruoshua said calmly. Hearing this, Master Ning couldn't help but wipe the cold sweat on his forehead. Was it good to give Senior Song away? Senior Song actually agreed. Although Shuai said this, how could Master Ning not understand that without Senior Song's permission, he would not be able to give it out? I just don't know who's so unlucky as to accept Senior Song. That would definitely be more terrifying than the end of the world. Without knowing who this person was, Master Ning already sympathized with him. After knowing that this fearless fellow was the grand elder of the Yao family, Master Ning's sympathy for the Yao family immediately surged like a river, and could not be stopped. At this moment, it didn't seem to matter who would divide the Ning family's god realm. After that, the more Master Ning thought about it, the happier he became. He laughed wildly on the ground without any care for his image, and even hit the ground while laughing. Upon seeing this scene, everyone turned their heads in unison. They really wanted to say that they didn't recognize this crazy old man. As for a certain fake Ning family member, his heart trembled. I'm finished. I'm finished. This old man had gone crazy. He didn't know if she would kill him in a fit of anger. Sob. He was scared. Chapter 2965, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 8. At the same time, Yao Nan had brought Chao Ling and Song to the Yao family. The moment Yao Nan entered the house, he was welcomed warmly by the Yao family members. The Elders' Council came forward to welcome them. The newly appointed elders of the Yao family asked impatiently, Grand Elder, how's the situation? They knew that Yao Nan was going to the Ning family's god realm, and they didn't think it was wrong to take the Ning family's territory. After all, the Nings were gone, weren't they? A place without an owner would naturally be occupied by the capable. More importantly, their Yao family had been tormented too badly by Len Ruoshua previously. That was why they had the guts to snatch the food from Len Ruoxia's mouth. Of course, this didn't exclude the fact that Yao Nan, the Grand Elder, had given them endless confidence. It was because of Yao Nan that they felt that most of the Ning family's divine realm would be in the Yao family's possession. After their master came out of seclusion, they could also report their achievements to him. Just thinking about it made them excited. All the elders fell into a temporary daze after hearing Yao Nan's words. What did he mean? When I came back, this matter wasn't settled yet. Yao Nan saw the confusion on the elders' faces and explained. At the same time, he was glad that the cat hadn't gone crazy over the past 2 days and that his injuries had mostly recovered. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to explain himself. Oh. The elders nodded. They were too embarrassed to ask why Yao Nan had returned before the matter was resolved, so they just watched the tired Yao Nan return to his residence. Not long after, An earth-shattering scream rang out from Yao Nan's residence and reverberated throughout the entire Yao family. Hearing this terrible scream, the Yao family members were tortured, and the entire family in the main residence felt terrible. They didn't understand what was going on, but after hearing the screams, no one dared to step into Yao Nan's residence. As such, they had no idea what had happened. At this moment, there were only Chao Ling and him in Yao Nan's residence. What kind of waiter was this? They had all been sent away when he returned, so no one would come to save him. When Sung tortured Yao Nan and Chao Ling to the point where they were no longer human and covered in wounds, it stopped and began to wander around the Yao family's main residence. On a certain day, the Yao family elders were having a routine meeting and Sung barged in without any notice. Seeing it, the Yao family elders were all stunned. However, there were still elders who recognized that this cat that ignored everyone was the one that the Supreme Elder had brought back a few days ago. They naturally did not dare to offend the Grand Elder's new favorite. At this moment, Azure elegantly waved his paw to greet the old men present. "I'm hungry." He barged into their meeting hall when he was hungry. The elders secretly sighed, but they still politely ordered people to get food for Tsang. Looking at the table full of fish, Tsang was furious. "Fuck! I don't like to eat fish." Azure Fire roared. If he wanted to eat, he would eat what Nyo made. Thanks, but before anyone could ask what Tsang liked, the furious Tsang flipped the table. There was a clattering sound, and when they looked at the ground, all the fish on the table had been fed to the ground. An elder couldn't help but roar, "Damn! You eat all these fish. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." "I'm not eating." Tsang only had 2 words to offer. When that person heard this, he became even angrier and went forward to grab Tsang. Tsang nimbly dodged, and while the elder was unprepared, he used his claws to kick the unfortunate elder. With a plop, the elder fell to the ground, his body and face covered with fish and juice. "So you're the one who likes to eat fish?" Tsang suddenly understood. "Damn it, you little bastard. I won't let you off." The elder was burning with anger as he pounced towards Azure. It was naturally impossible for him to catch cold, and its small body was unusually flexible. In a few moves, the angry elder was tortured by cold until he was gasping for breath. This wasn't enough. Following that, Azure continued to provoke the elder into chasing him up and down. Not long after, the elders present only heard a cracking sound. Instantly, all the elders were shocked. At this time, Azure nimbly ran out of the meeting hall. The elder wanted to continue chasing, but he had just taken 2 steps when the roof beam of the meeting hall came crashing down, hitting his waist. Instantly, a scream sounded. Seeing this, the elders were even more shocked. At this time, they had already realized that something was wrong. An elder who was closest to the unlucky elder picked up the unconscious man who had been hit by the beam and wanted to run out. However, everyone's movements were half a beat too slow. Before they could run out, the entire meeting hall had collapsed and the elders were buried in the ruins. Sung, who was already outside, revealed a smirk when he saw this. At this moment, a cry of surprise rang out in the courtyard, "Not good, the meeting hall has collapsed." What followed was the sound of panicked footsteps. By the time the guards of the Yao clan arrived, Sung had long slipped away. Just as the guards were rescuing the council, misfortunes never came alone. The elder council collapsed. As a last resort, the guards sent out a portion of their people to support the elder council. Fortunately, there weren't many people in the elder's house at the moment, so it wasn't too troublesome to rescue them. However, while they were cleaning up the assembly hall and the elder's house, bad news kept coming from all over the Yao family's main residence, which made them feel that something was wrong. The guards were busy and exhausted like dead dogs. Meanwhile, Song was looking around, giving orders to the guards from time to time. In less than an hour, the miserable guards had been tormented to the point that they were even more miserable than drowning dogs. In the end, the extremely busy guards finally couldn't move anymore. They laid on the ground and no matter how Ren Sung provoked them, they wouldn't get up even if they died. After teasing him for a while, Tsang lost interest and returned to Yao Nan's residence with graceful steps. At this moment, Yao Nan, who had been panting heavily, immediately pretended to faint when he saw Tsang. Looking at Yao Nan with disdain, Tsang chuckled and said, "Stop pretending. I've had enough fun today. I won't play with you guys anymore." With that, Tsang lay on the bed and fell asleep. Yao Nan looked at this scene for a long time. After making sure that Tsang was asleep, he crawled to the door and opened it a little. He turned back to look at Tsang and saw that he was snoring happily. He became braver and opened the door as wide as he could before running out. However, after 2 steps, he suddenly found that his legs were suspended in the air. When he turned around to look, he was so frightened that his gallbladder almost burst. Weren't you asleep?" Yao Nan asked nervously, his face pale. Chapter 2966, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 9, I can't look at you when I'm asleep. Little Nan, you're too dishonest, you're making things difficult for me. Why can't you be more honest like this woman? Tsang pointed at the unconscious Chao Ling and looked at Yao Nan in disappointment. Yao Nan wanted to cry but had no tears. How could he learn from this? If Linger had not fainted, how could she be so well behaved? That was why he was the most honest idiot. He should not have woken up. Ai. How should I punish you? Tsang continued to talk to himself, completely ignoring Yao Nan's pale face. Please spare me this time. I won't dare to do it again. When Yao Nan heard that he was going to be punished, he was so scared that tears started streaming down his face. Really? Azure asked doubtfully. Yes, I won't dare to do it again. Yao Nan was almost scared out of his wits. He didn't even dare to think that he would be lucky. He would be punished if he was caught. Even if Azure told him to run, he didn't dare to run, afraid that Azure was playing with him. So this person. It's better to have self-awareness and not be too full of yourself. After Tsang's training, Yao Nan deeply understood this point. At the same time, he had learned to be obedient and no longer dared to have any ideas about Leng Ruoxue. With such a beastie protecting him, any man who dared to have designs on Leng Ruoxue was not a man. Call him a male god. The beasts that were protecting Leng Ruoxue were not ordinary beasts either. They were beast gods. Once scratched by a cat, he would be afraid of beastie for 10 years, for the rest of his life. This time, Yao Nan had definitely learned his lesson. Seeing that he could change, Tsang magnanimously gave him another chance. After that, Tsang lay back on the bed and fell asleep. This time, regardless of whether he was snoring or not, Yao Nan didn't dare to run away with unrealistic hopes. At this moment, he still didn't know what the Yao family was facing. Otherwise, he would definitely regret bringing Tsang back to the Yao family. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret. After a night, the elders who were trapped in the ruins of the meeting hall were rescued by the guards who had rested for a while. Although they did not die, they were all injured to varying degrees. The most serious injury was the unlucky elder who had chased Tsang before. After they were rescued, they were placed in the open space in the courtyard. Seeing that no one would care about them after they were placed here, some of the elders roared, "Fuck! Are you all blind? You don't even know how to send us back to our rooms?" The guards looked at the angry elders with strange expressions and said carefully, "Elders, I would like to send you back to your rooms, but you have to have a room." "What do you mean?" an elder asked as he sensed something was wrong. Other than the Grand Elder's courtyard, all the courtyards in the Yao family's main residence have collapsed into ruins. A guard replied honestly. They didn't say it before because they were afraid that the elders wouldn't be able to take such a huge shock and would have a heart attack. But now, it was what the elders wanted to know. Therefore, if anything happened, they couldn't be blamed for their innocence. As expected, as soon as he said this, all the elders collectively fell into a daze. After a long while, an elder finally recovered and shouted with disbelief, "This is impossible." Hearing this, the guard didn't explain any further. He directly carried the elder on his back and circled around the Yao family's main residence. After returning, the elder was still in a daze. How is it? Did they really all collapse? Someone nudged the dumbfounded elder and asked anxiously. It collapsed. It all collapsed. Even the forbidden area in the back mountain has collapsed. After a long time, the dumbfounded elder finally responded. When the elders heard this, they didn't care about their injuries and limped towards the back of the mountain. When they arrived and saw the ruins, they couldn't help but cry out, "Ancestor! You can't let anything happen to you." "Thanks, don't worry, he'll be fine." At this time, a slightly familiar voice rang in their ears. All the elders suddenly looked up and saw a snow-white kitten the size of a palm, stepping on a few pink clouds and floating in the air. At the thought of the Grand Elder, the elders stopped wailing and limped back to Yao Nan's residence. When they arrived at Yao Nan's courtyard, Tsang blocked the way of the elders and asked angrily, "What are you guys doing? Little kitty, get out of the way. We want to see the Grand Elder." An elder said with a straight face. Little Nan Nan said that he doesn't want to see you guys. Tsang said this on his own, thinking that this guy would not dare to resist. Something big has happened to the Yao family, how could the Grand Elder not see us? The elder's anger shot to the top of his head. What's the big deal? It's just a house that collapsed, it'll be fine if we just rebuild it. Besides, didn't the Yao family have a courtyard in the suburbs? That place didn't collapse, so you can live there. Tsang Shanliang suggested. Unfortunately, a certain someone didn't appreciate it. The elder's neck was red as he roared, "Little cat, are you going to move or not? I won tea. If you want to see little Nan Nan, you'll have to step over my dead body. If you can't cross it, you'll be the ones to die." Tsang Bie roared. Immediately, the weaker one's small bodies started to tremble. In the past, Leng Ruoxue had caused the Yao family indelible damage. Hence, some of the Yao family elders present were afraid of being yelled at like that. After some discussion, they decided not to stoop to the level of a cat. In the next moment, they had already left Yao Nan's courtyard and retreated to the side courtyard in the suburbs as Tsang had wished. When they arrived at the courtyard, the elders had an emergency meeting. It was necessary to rebuild the main residence, but what about the funds? The elders looked at each other, their eyes filled with innocence. Yes. No funding. He was stretched to the elbow. Even a clever housewife cannot cook without rice. Just as all the elders were so worried that their hair was about to turn white, a sharp scream suddenly entered their ears. Arg! There's a rat. What followed was the sound of panicked footsteps. Hearing this, the elders hurriedly walked out of the room and were instantly dumbfounded. Fuck! Tens of thousands of black rats, the size of black calves, were gathered in every corner of the courtyard. Their fur was smooth and shiny, and their 2 rows of sharp teeth sent chills down everyone's spine. These rats were simply unorganized and undisciplined. They would bite wherever they caught, and their speed was so fast that it was impossible to guard against. As a matter of fact, without even looking, a corner of the house was missing, and it was creaking as if it was about to collapse. The elders had a bad feeling and tried to stop him. However, there were too many rats. They could guard against this but not the others. Chapter 2967, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 10. In less than an hour, the courtyard had become a meal for the rats. Previously, the sudden collapse of the Yao family's main house had already caused various degrees of injuries to many of the members. Now that the rat attack had appeared, it was like adding snow to the snow for the Yao family, and many of them were even more seriously injured. After seeing this orderly scene, the Yao family elders were so angry that their noses almost became crooked. Fuck! Why was he so unorganized and undisciplined when he was gnawing at the Yao family's courtyard? Now that they were retreating, they all left. It was really infuriating. Now that the rats had retreated, they had no place to vent their anger. Elders, what should we do now? After a long time, the captain of the guards gathered his courage and asked. The atmosphere was so oppressive that they didn't even dare to breathe. What do we do? What do you think we should do? Go and set up the tent. Idiot. Do you even need to ask? One of the elders who was bitten by the rat shouted angrily. When the guard captain heard this, he quickly lowered his head and bitterly led his guards to set up the tent. The next day, the depressed elders of the Yao family received the news that the entire Yao family's divine territory was also suffering from a rat disaster. For a moment, the Yao family elders couldn't help but panic. But fortunately, they didn't forget to form a group to exterminate the rats. Unfortunately, by the time they were split into groups and arrived at their destination, the rats had already run away and moved to another place. As for the Yao family, they had been lagging behind in terms of news, and they were constantly busy dealing with the tales left behind by the rats. After staying in the Yao family's dilapidated main residence for a few more days, Tsang had had enough fun and planned to go home. Of course, he would not forget to bring his lovers, Yao Nan and Chao Ling, with him. In the past few days, Tsang had been working hard to sow discord between the two lovers, and it was very effective, so he was quite satisfied. When Yao Nan, who was being carried out of the courtyard, saw the ruins in front of him, he was completely dumbfounded. What's going on? Is it an enemy attack? Yao Nan's face paled. It's not an enemy attack, don't worry. It's mainly because the quality of your house is too poor, and it hasn't been maintained for years, so it collapsed. Don't worry, the Yao family members are still alive and have already moved to another courtyard. Tsang Shangliang comforted. Oh. Hearing Tsang's words, Yao Nan relaxed. However, he was still a little unhappy. No one had told him that such a big thing had happened to the Yao family. He really didn't put him, the Grand Elder, in his eyes. Not only that, he completely believed Azure's words, but he had no choice. Seeing that Yao Nan had calmed down, Tsang grinned and teleported back to Demon City with the 2 piles of trash in his hands. Nyo! As soon as they entered the house, Tsang shouted and threw Yao Nan and Chao Ling to the ground. Azure has returned. Hearing Tsang's voice, Leng Ruoxue quickly came out from her bracelet. The next second, a fluffy white ball flew into her arms. After being close to Tsang for a while, Leng Ruoxue's beautiful eyes turned to Yao Nan and Chao Ling. She asked in confusion, why did you bring them back? Bring him back for further training. Hee hee. Azure smiled evilly, clearly in a good mood. Thanks, I see. Then I can only lock them up in the prison. Thinking about it, Tsang Kai said. Hearing this, Yao Nan immediately begged for mercy, don't. Uncle Cat, I will serve you well. Please don't put me in a cell, I will be scared. Girl, he said hell be scared. Tsang's face was filled with sympathy for Yao Nan. You decide for yourself. Leng Ruoxue was helpless. She had never expected that Yao Nan would throw away his pride just to survive. This was too disappointing. Just like that, Yao Nan and Chao Ling settled down in Demon City. The two of them were extremely obedient. Not only did they not dare to cause any trouble, they even treated Uncle Long and the others like their ancestors. From time to time, they would entertain everyone. With their hard work, the two of them had a much better time in Demon City. However, this was the first time Yao Nan had seen Master Ning, and he couldn't utter a single word. At that time, he had thought that he had seen a ghost, but later he found out that it was the living master of the Ning family. Immediately, Yao Nan hated the Cao family. If it wasn't for the Cao family's instigation, saying that there was no one left in the Ning family, he wouldn't have had any ideas about the Ning family. Now that he had seen Master Ning, what else did he not understand? He had clearly been tricked. But even though he knew that he had been tricked, he did not dare to say anything and could only admit that he was unlucky. Although Yao Nan was a little silly at times, he was definitely not stupid. Otherwise, he wouldn't have become the most beloved descendant of the Yao family and become the supreme elder of the Yao family. On the contrary, he was very smart. Other than being a little lecherous, he was pretty tactful. It was just that he had been fooled by the Cao family this time, thinking that the Ning family had really been annihilated. And the Leng Ruoxue he had heard from the Cao family was just a little girl who relied on the Ning family's master to support her. Think about it, that little girl's backing was already dead, so how could a little girl turn the world upside down? However, it was because he had underestimated his enemy and was smitten by Leng Ruoxue's beauty that he thought that she was like most women in this world who needed to rely on men to survive. As a result, he had met with a tragedy. Sob. If he had known that the beast by the other party's side was so terrifying, he would not have dared to target Leng Ruoxue and the Ning family. But it was too late to say anything now. This was truly a mistake that would cause eternal hatred. Yao Nan was filled with regret. At this moment, he no longer saw Chao Ling as a beautiful woman. His heart was filled with hatred. As a result, Chao Ling's days were even worse. A few more days passed. The Qing family head had returned with Qing Xian. It was clear that the two of them had successfully completed their mission. After reporting the performance of each major faction to Leng Ruoxue and the others, the Qing family head put on an expression that was asking for praise, waiting for Leng Ruoxue to praise him. Leng Ruoxue glanced at the Qing clan's clan head and turned her head away on purpose. Shuer, I've completed my mission. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue was playing dumb, the Qing family head ran to her and reminded her. Yes. Nodding her head calmly, Leng Ruoxue maintained her nonchalant expression. Are there any rewards? The Qing family head asked directly. No, I didn't. Leng Ruoxue said with certainty. Immediately, the Qing family head's old face drooped. At this time, Master Ning, who couldn't stand it anymore, stepped forward and kicked Master Cheng's butt, and scolded him with a smile. Didn't Shuer give you 100 spots? What kind of reward did he want? Besides, you didn't even get a piece of the Ning family's territory, and you still have the nerve to ask for a reward? Chapter 2968, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 11, Too many forces are going. How can I have the nerve to fight for territory with some little guys? The Qing family's head said, aggrieved. So you came back empty-handed? At least Senior Tsang brought a gift? Shuer was the same. You didn't take anything, how could you? Don't you feel ashamed? Master Ning said with a look of disdain. Didn't I bring back a lot of information? Isn't that enough? The Qing family head reminded. Since that information is a gift, then you are even less qualified to ask for a reward. Master Ning used Huang Shiren's tone. All right. I knew you would knock on the door. AI. Just take it as running an errand. The Qing family head sighed helplessly. As they listened to the two old men's meaningless conversation, Leng Ruoxue and the rest were the ones who felt helpless. On the other side. After an elder of the Yao family who had gained a huge advantage returned to his hometown in high spirits, he discovered that the entire Yao family's divine realm looked as if it had been robbed by bandits. It was in tatters. Instantly, the elder's beautiful face paled and he hurriedly brought the people around him back. When he got home, he was completely dumbfounded. The Yao family. How did the Yao family become like this? Damn it! Who did this? The elder furiously roared towards the sky. At this moment, the Yao family's mansion was no longer in ruins. The entire place had been razed to the ground. Other than a thick layer of soil, which indicated that the Yao family had once existed, there was no sign of the Yao family's mansion at all. More importantly, where did the Yao family go? Ancestor. Wu, ancestor. The Yao family elder, who was out of his wits, sat on the ground and wailed. This scene was really too tragic. Just as he was crying bitterly, the ground suddenly shook. Then, the ground in front of the elder caved in, giving him a shock. Elder Chu, don't cry anymore. You're making the ground collapse. At this time, a guard who was not very good at talking quickly went up to persuade him. Get lost. Fuck. Why am I the one who collapsed from crying? Elder Chu angrily rebuked. Instantly, the guard didn't dare to speak. He couldn't help but think in his heart, the moment you cry, the ground will collapse. If it's not you, then who is it? What's going on? At the same time, a roar came from underground. When Elder Chu heard this, he hurriedly jumped down along with the collapse. Old ancestor, you've come out of seclusion. Elder Chu's emotions surged when he saw the Yao family head, as if he had found his backbone. But now, the Yao family head's appearance wasn't too good. Not only was his face covered in dirt, but there was also a piece of wood on his body. In fact, when Sung destroyed the Yao family's main residence, he had used his divine power to protect the place where the Yao family's head was in seclusion, not allowing him to be affected in any way. However, without the protection of Tsang's divine power, the collapse of the ground just happened to hit him, so he was in a tragedy. Hearing the old ancestor's question, Elder Chu was bewildered and asked, "Ancestor, I don't know." "How could you not know?" The Yao family head was furious. "I just came back from outside." Elder Chu was on the verge of tears. "Since you don't know, then call someone who knows over. I want to ask him." Hearing Elder Chu's words, the Yao family had instructed. "Master, the Yao family has all disappeared." Elder Chu replied carefully, afraid that the old ancestor would be enraged. As such, he did not dare to risk his life and say that the Yao clan might have all fallen. "Thanks, ancestor, I didn't see a single Yao family member when I came back." Elder Chu didn't dare to hide the truth. The Yao family head was still skeptical about these words. Then, he stood up and jumped up from the collapsed area. When he reached the ground, he was dumbfounded. How did this happen? Where did the Yao family go? Who did this? The Yao family head was furious, his face and neck red with anger. Then, he searched with his divine sense and finally found traces of the Yao family. "Follow me." The Yao family head said to Elder Qiu. The message teleported to the corner of the Yao family's landing point. The head of the Yao family shouted, "What happened to the Yao family? Who did it?" Hearing the voice of their ancestor, everyone in the Yao family was suddenly excited. However, their answers to the Yao family head were not quite the same. Some said they didn't know, while some said it was the Rat clan. Hearing all these answers, the head of the Yao family angrily cursed, "Who did this? You tell me." He pointed at an elder and called out his name. "Forefather, this matter is really hard to say. Our Yao family's main residence collapsed without any warning. As for the other places, it was indeed the doing of the hamster tribe." The elder who was called out carefully replied. "It collapsed without any warning? This is impossible." The Yao family head didn't believe this. Otherwise, he would have lived all these years in vain. "Ancestor, our main residence has been here for many years." At this time, an elder who was ranked at the bottom said in a low voice. The implication was just as Azure had said, it had been in disrepair for a long time. However, as soon as he finished speaking, he was immediately sent flying by a kick from the Yao family head. "Even if you're broken, the main residence can't be broken. This is definitely man-made." Hearing Master Ning's words, the Yao family didn't dare to say anything. "Who is it? Has anyone suspicious appeared in the Yao family's god domain recently?" After thinking for a moment, the Yao family head continued to ask. "There are no suspicious people, but a cat came to our house recently. After it arrived, something happened to our Yao family." With the Yao family head's reminder, one of the elders immediately knew what was good for him and revealed Song. "A cat? Where did this cat come from?" The Yao family head asked. This was also a clue. The Grand Elder brought them back. The elder replied. "Nan he's out of seclusion." The Yao family head asked. "Yes, I am." An elder nodded. Hearing this, the Yao family head didn't raise any suspicions. He only thought that Yao Nan had taken in a pet. After all, if it was any other beast, it might be the main culprit, but it was definitely not a cat. After all, in the divine realm, a cat was even weaker than a mouse. Thinking of the rats, the Yao family head led the Yao family members to seek revenge from the rat clan in an aggressive manner. Who knew that after searching for several days and almost turning the entire divine realm upside down, they couldn't even find the shadow of the hamster tribe? Instantly, the Yao family members were somewhat discouraged. In particular, they still had to sleep on the streets every night, which made Elder Chu, who had been living in luxury, quite unaccustomed to it. After much consideration, Elder Chu finally mustered up his courage and suggested that old Grand Madam go to the Ning family's divine realm to stay for a short while. After hearing Elder Chu's suggestion, the Yao family head laughed before shouting, "You're going to live in the Ning family's god domain? Do you think the Ning family's god domain belongs to my Yao family? It does belong to the Yao family now. At least half of it belongs to the Yao family." Elder Chu muttered softly. Chapter 2969, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 12. What did you just say? Can you explain it to me? The Yao family head grabbed Elder Chu by his collar and asked loudly. The Ning family. The Ning family has been exterminated by the Divine Master. The Ning family's divine realm has become a land without an owner. Therefore, our major forces have divided it up. Elder Chu stammered as he carefully reported. Old man Ning is dead. This is impossible. The Yao family head did not believe Elder Chu's words at all. At this time, the other elders also interrupted to confirm that something had indeed happened to the Ning family. However, the Yao family head still didn't believe him and asked again, what about Leng Ruoxue? She's also dead. Leng Ruoxue is still alive. Elder Chu hurriedly replied. She's still alive, so how could old man Ning be dead? Furthermore, didn't Leng Ruoxue say anything when you guys divided up the Ning family's god realm? The Yao family head continued to ask. No, she said that it's her sad place. She didn't want to see it to avoid thinking of her. Elder Chu repeated Leng Ruoxue's words. Idiot. Idiot. You've been tricked. Leng Ruoxue is using retreat to advance, trying to provoke you guys. You guys. Why did he have to provoke that she-devil? Isn't it enough to just obediently guard the Yao clan? When the Yao family head heard this, he roared in exasperation. How could he have such a stupid descendant? One had to know that he had never won a single time when he fought Leng Ruoxue. Was this not enough to warn the clan? Why did he have to provoke Leng Ruoxue? Is that woman really that cunning? Elder Chu was in slight disbelief. It was not that he did not believe the old Grand Madam's words, but he had always looked down on women. He even felt that the Ning family's master must have played a big role in Leng Ruoxue's previous actions of causing the Yao family to be in such a miserable state. Otherwise, he would not have supported the Grand Elder to hit them when they were down. It was because of this that he was skeptical of the old ancestor's words. The depressed Yao family head immediately inquired about the ins and outs of the matter, and after hearing it, he was even more remorseful. I'm finished. This time, he was entangled with Leng Ruoxue. Furthermore, after he found out from Elder Chu that the cat was originally Leng Ruoxue's pet and was forcefully taken by the Grand Elder, he even felt like killing himself. This aggro-pulling was really strong. Was Beastie by Leng Ruoxue's side that easy to get? Now, he could be sure that the Yao family's incident was definitely related to that cat. This way, he wouldn't have to seek revenge from the hamster clan. Leng Ruoxue must have been the one who instructed him to do so. The pitiful Leng Ruoxue had to take the blame for Tsang. However, as Tsang's master, there was no difference in pushing Tsang's actions onto Leng Ruoxue. After figuring out the cause and effect, Master Yao led a few important elders to Demon City. As soon as they arrived at the outskirts of Demon City, Azure had already appeared in front of the Yao family head with a smile. Ancestor, this is the cat. Elder Chu immediately pointed at Tsang and shouted. Little old man, you still recognize me. Tsang Xiao said to Elder Qiu, may I know who you are? The Yao family head was very polite. He couldn't tell the cat's strength. Thanks, Im Tsang. Long time no see, little fellow. Song raised his little paw and greeted Patriarch Yao. Of course, the prerequisite was that Lin Ruoxue and the others had to let bygones be bygones. The more he thought about it, the more aggrieved he felt. The Yao family had clearly suffered losses, so why did he still have to give in to Lin Ruoxue and the others? He was even afraid that they would hold a grudge against him. What was this? However, the Yao family was currently a vulnerable group, so he had no choice but to lower his stance. Although he felt aggrieved, after his expression changed for a moment, the Yao family head raised his smile and said, "So it's Senior Song. It has indeed been a long time. I heard that you've been in closed-door cultivation." Azure asked kindly, as if he was truly concerned about a junior. "Yes." The Yao family head nodded. "Then why did you suddenly come out of seclusion? Although you're already a reverent god, you still have to cultivate your mental state. So, I really shouldn't have come out of seclusion so early," Azure said in a disappointed tone. The Yao family head was silent. Would he say that he had been woken up by a piece of wood? Would he? After recollecting his emotions, the Yao family head smiled and said, "I didn't want to come out of seclusion so soon, but I heard from my clansmen that there was a misunderstanding with Demon City. So, I immediately brought them here to apologize." "I'm sorry," the few elders said in unison. When Song heard this, he couldn't help but widen his eyes, his face blank. "Did they do anything to let me down?" "Ah." The Yao family head knew that the other party was playing dumb, but he didn't know how to respond. "Isn't Senior Tsang a Totoro?" Elder Chu asked. "That's what I used to look like. I can change into whatever I want." Azure smiled evilly. Upon hearing this, everyone, including the Yao family head, was depressed. The meaning of his words was clearly to warn them not to appear in front of Lin Ruoxue and the others. Otherwise, who would know which beast was Senior Tsang's transformation? "Senior, can you invite us up for a seat?" After half a minute of silence, the Yao family head spoke again. "Of course you can, but I'm not sure how popular you guys are." Azure hesitated. "Senior Azure, we promise not to cause any trouble." The Yao family head promised. Yes, well, definitely be good." Elder Chu and the others also expressed their opinions. "I see. Then everyone, come home with me," Sung said in satisfaction. He then teleported and brought the Yao clansmen to the top of the mountain. When he arrived at the Ling family's main house, Master Yao saw Master Ning's figure in the garden. His heart suddenly turned cold. He thought to himself, sure enough, he was right. This old man is still alive and kicking. AI. He was at a loss for what to do with the things his descendants had done. As soon as Elder Chu saw Master Ning, he was dumbfounded. He pointed at Master Ning and asked, Are you a human or a ghost?" "Your sister. You're the ghost. Even if you become a ghost, you'll still live well." The master of the Ning family roared, and then looked at Sung Dao with a bitter face. "Senior Azure, why did you bring these people up?" Chapter 2970, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 13, They're here to apologize, but I don't think they've done anything wrong to me, so I'm thinking if they've done something wrong to you, so I brought them here. If there's anything you need to settle here, I'll be your judge," Azure said with great interest. Hearing this, Master Ning understood. "Senior Tsang. So you just wanted to watch the fun." However, looking at Old Man Yao's devout expression, it was probably not a good show to watch. Master Ning knew why Master Yao had come in person, but he would never take the initiative. If there was anything to say, Old Man Yao had to speak first. The two of them had known each other for many years and understood each other quite well. Seeing that Master Ning did not say anything, Master Yao knew that he had to take the initiative. The Yao family was indeed in the wrong in this matter. In addition, he was extremely unwilling to provoke Lin Ruoxue, so he placed himself in a very proper position. After clearing his throat a few times, the Yao family head said in embarrassment, Old Man Ning, I know that my descendants are in the wrong. They shouldn't have taken advantage of me. I've brought the decision makers of this incident here and asked them to apologize to you. Give them another chance. Let's just forget about this, okay? Also, don't worry. The Ning family's god domain will still be the Ning family's. We, the Yao family, guarantee that we won't occupy it. Seeing that Master Ning was silent, Master Yao had to add. It doesn't matter. You've already taken it anyway, so don't shoot after the fact. Master Ning didn't give him any face. After hearing this, the anger in the Yao family head's heart surged. At this moment, he really wanted to strangle his idiotic descendants to death. They were really a bunch of troublesome things. Why didn't they learn from the other 6 families in the 8 divine regions? One should know that the Yin family of the 8 great divine regions didn't even attend the meeting that the Cao family had called for. They had made their stand clear when they received the invitation. The family head wasn't present, so they couldn't make the decision. As for the clans that had come, they were like the cunning old man from the Qing family. They didn't want the Ning family's territory at all. Only Elder Chu from the Yao family had foolishly taken away more than half of the territory. Now, he had to lower his head and apologize, and he had even provoked Demon City. More importantly, the current situation was quite unfavorable to the Yao family, because Old Man Ning didn't accept their apology at all. Old Man Ning, we've known each other for so many years, can't you give me some face? The Yao family head pleaded. I gave you face, but your Yao family won't give me face. I don't know where your in-law found a member of the Ning family, but he insisted that I was dead and that the Ning family had been annihilated. He gathered all the forces to divide up the Ning family's divine realm. Tell me, how do you want me to give face to your Yao family? The master of the Ning family complained. Calm down, I will definitely give you an explanation for this matter. In fact, our Yao family has also been deceived by the Cao family, so even if you don't cause trouble for the Cao family, I won't let them off. Please believe me. The Yao family head said with a good temper. Trust you. Don't tell me you want to silence me. Master Ning looked at Master Yao suspiciously. How is that possible? I've already asked clearly about this matter. The Yao family was indeed deceived by the Cao family, I swear on my character. Seeing that Master Ning didn't believe him, Master Yao couldn't help but be a little anxious. You want to swear an oath on your character? How much is your personality worth? Do you even have a personality? Master Ning was still disdainful. I can't believe it. Take your descendants back. The Ning family's territory you want to leave is also yours. Take care, I won't see you out. Master Ning directly asked him to leave. Old Man Ning, don't be like this. Seeing that the other party was really going to drive him away, the Yao family head hurriedly stopped him. Thanks, Godfather, give me some face. Let's see how the Yao family head is going to show his sincerity. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue heard that the Yao family head had arrived and rushed over to join in the fun. Coincidentally, she saw that her godfather was about to chase him away, so she hurriedly pleaded for mercy. Miss Leng, you've come at the right time. I'm very sincere in visiting you this time, so please give me a chance. Seeing that the real master had arrived, the Yao family head immediately heaved a sigh of relief. I can give you a chance, but how does the Yao family head want to perform? Leng Ruoxue asked with a faint smile. Although she was a little angry at the Yao family for adding insult to injury, she clearly didn't want to push the Yao family too far. Therefore, as long as the other party could satisfy her, she naturally wouldn't hold it against the Yao family. After Leng Ruoxue appeared and pleaded for mercy on behalf of Master Yao, Master Ning was so angry that he returned to his room. Old Man Ning is really angry with me. Seeing this, the Yao family head couldn't help but smile bitterly. If it was the Yao family head, he would also be angry. Leng Ruoxue said calmly. That's for sure. However, my Yao family has been cheated by the Cao family this time, so I will never let them off. The Yao family head said with hatred. As far as I know, the Cao family and you are in-laws. Leng Ruoxue reminded. Then we can't let them go. Not only did the Cao family deceive us, but they also used the Yao family's name to swindle people, ruining our reputation. So, I will never forgive them. The Yao family head said angrily. When Leng Ruoxue heard this, she couldn't help but think, does your Yao family still have a reputation? However, with Tsang and Qing Ju around, she naturally knew that they were telling the truth. Otherwise, she wouldn't have pleaded for mercy on behalf of the Yao family head. However, would those who didn't know really not blame him? If the Yao family wasn't so greedy, how could this have happened? It should be known that other than the Yao family, the other 6 divine domains had also sent people there, but they didn't care about this at all and were just there for show. Only the Yao family had been greedy for the Ning family's divine domain. However, this time, the Yao family head was rather sincere. He apologized non-stop and not only returned the Ning family's territory in the God realm, he even took the initiative to offer a lot of compensation. Of course, he did not dare to mention the rat problem in the Yao family's God realm to Leng Ruoxue. As such, Leng Ruoxue naturally could not be bothered to make a fuss about it. After receiving Leng Ruoxue's forgiveness, the Yao family had finally heaved a sigh of relief. That was really close. He believed that if he didn't personally make this trip, the Yao family and Demon City would probably fight to the death. Fortunately, there was still time. The Yao family head heaved a sigh of relief and brought up Yao Nan's matter, saying that he wanted to bring him back to the Yao family. When Leng Ruoxue heard this, she pointed at Tsang and said, Yao Nan is Tsang's, I can't make the decision. Ah! The Yao family head was stunned. How could it be Senior Tsang's? I can let him go with you. Seeing that the topic had changed to him, Azure took the initiative. Thank you, Senior Azure. The Yao family head didn't expect Senior Tsang to be so easy to talk to, and his heart immediately settled. Chapter 2971, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 14. However, when he saw Yao Nan, he realized that he had been too naive. The Yao Nan that the Yao family head had seen seemed to be mentally normal. His clothes were clean, and there were no wounds on his body. It was clear that he had not suffered any inhuman abuse, but for some reason, Yao Nan had refused to return home with the Yao family head. Nan, be good. Come home with father. After thinking for a moment, the Yao family head patiently coaxed him. I'm not going back, I want to stay here to serve Senior Tsang. Yao Nan carefully peeked at Tsang. He was really afraid that because of his father's arrival, Senior Tsang would vent his anger on him. At that time, wouldn't he have to suffer again? Moreover, it wasn't that he didn't want to go home with his father, but he didn't dare to. Although Senior Tsang had said that he could leave, according to his experience over the past few days, Senior Tsang was most likely just joking. Therefore, he couldn't take it seriously. If he really did, he would be miserable. It was because of the above reasons that he refused to leave. After trying to persuade him to no avail, the Yao family head could only leave with Elder Chu and the others. Before he left, he had specially asked Senior Tsang to teach Yao Nan a lesson if he did anything wrong. As a courtesy, Tsang had also given Chao Ling to the Yao family head. Chao Ling didn't want to leave either. She knew that since she was in the hands of the Yao family, she wouldn't have a good ending. At least she could keep her life here. However, Tsang wasn't as interested in her as Yao Nan, so he threw Chao Ling to the Yao family head without thinking. Dragging Chao Ling, Master Yao was depressed. Even though he had not been able to take Yao Nan away, he had at least resolved his conflict with Leng Ruoxue. He had not come in vain. After the head of the Yao family left, Tsang Kai looked at Yao Nan with a curious expression and asked with a smile, I really didn't expect that you and the Yao family's brat are actually father and son. Ah. We've been father and son for many years. Yao Nan replied uneasily. Upon hearing this, Uncle Long, who was watching from the side, couldn't help but burst into laughter. It was undeniable that Yao Nan had made a lot of fun of them, which was the main reason why they were reluctant to let him go. You're the eldest son of the Yao family head? Leng Ruoxue asked. Yup. Yao Nan nodded, not understanding why Leng Ruoxue would ask such a question. No wonder. Leng Ruoxue understood. The strong would usually favor the eldest. Otherwise, the Yao family head wouldn't have wanted to bring his son back even after Yao Nan had caused such a huge disaster. Even though part of it was to receive punishment, the main reason was probably because he was afraid that Yao Nan would suffer. She hadn't forgotten how the head of the Yao family had inspected Yao Nan from head to toe. Hearing Leng Ruoxue's, no wonder, Yao Nan still didn't understand. He looked at Leng Ruoxue in confusion. However, Leng Ruoxue stood up and returned to her room. Tsang naturally took Yao Nan away. Now, he couldn't leave this pistachios. After leaving Demon City, Patriarch Yao didn't return to the Yao family's divine realm. Instead, he went to the Cao family's territory. As such, the Cao family was naturally going to be in deep trouble. The head of the Cao family, who was Chao Ling's father, saw that his daughter had returned. Before he could say anything, he could feel the anger of the Yao family head. Thanks, although he had only seen the image of the Yao family head in the memory crystal, this did not affect his understanding of the Yao family head. When he saw the Yao family's head aggressively coming to his door, he was instantly terrified. Who told you to lie to the forces and say that the Ning family was completely annihilated? Grabbing Master Chao's neck, Master Yao questioned. No, no one. After struggling for a while, the Cao family head said with some difficulty. No one. Do you think he'll believe you? If no one had instructed you to do so, would you have dared to deceive so many forces? You even dare to play with our Yao family, you really have some guts. The Yao family head said angrily. He was really angry. He had only been in closed-door cultivation for a few decades, and some people thought that he was easy to bully. How dare he lie to the Yao family and make them hate him? He was unforgivable. Moreover, he had lived for so many years and had seen all kinds of people. Only a ghost would believe that someone as timid as Master Chao had not been instructed by someone. I really didn't. The Cao family head said stubbornly. No. Then I won't ask anymore, you can go to hell. The Yao family head said coldly. After saying that, he increased the strength of his hand. Cough, cough. No, let me go. Woo, I can't say it, I really can't say it. If I say it, the Cao family will be exterminated. The Cao family head, who was already suffocated by the Yao family head, coughed violently and hurriedly said. If you don't tell me, I'll destroy the Cao family right now. The Yao family head threatened. Woo. All right. I'll tell you, I'll tell you. A man in black told me to do this. He's from the Divine Master's estate. The Cao family head said with a face full of fear. Is everything you said true? The Yao family head asked with uncertainty. Yao family head, I wouldn't dare to lie to you. Whether it's the Divine Lord's estate or the Yao family, our Chao family can't afford to offend either of them. Woo. Let me go. The Cao family head begged. I don't think you would dare to lie to me. The Yao family head loosened his grip and let go of the Cao family head. This was because Master Chao's answer was too shocking. He had never thought that everything was actually caused by the Divine Lord's estate. Just what was God Lord Fog Ripple trying to do? Was he trying to sow discord between them and Leng Ruoxue? She had to admit that she had succeeded. If he had not come out of seclusion, the hatred between the Yao family and Demon City would have deepened. However, he didn't want to pick a side at all. To him, the best strategy was to remain neutral and not offend either side. It was because of this that he let go of the Cao family, who might be the minions of Wuhan, and left with the Yao family. After much consideration, Master Yao still told Leng Ruoxue about this news. Leng Ruoxue did not expect that the Cao family was actually under Wu Jing's orders. No wonder the rumors were getting more and more outrageous. However, she was very curious. As the rumored female lead, what exactly was Wuhan's mood? It must feel unusual to be spreading gossip about me, right? In fact, these things were not directly instructed by Wu Xiao. After all, she was now fully focused on healing her injuries and did not have much energy to care about other things. But before this, Wu Xian had ordered that when they had nothing to do, they would find trouble with the Ning family. As a result, her black-clothed subordinates spared no effort to cause trouble. Although it wasn't their wish to have God Lord Mist Ripple as the female lead, the result was that they couldn't control the rumors. As a result, the black-robed men's subordinates decided to act ruthlessly and personally direct such a good show. However, it seemed that this act had failed. The next day, the news of the Cao family's extermination reached Leng Ruoxue and the others. At the same time, Leng Ruoxue also received a message from the Yao family head. Our Yao clan didn't do this. Chapter 2972, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 15. Even though Master Yao's voice transmission sounded like he was trying to hide something, Leng Ruoxue still chose to believe him. She was going to kill him anyway, so it really didn't make a difference to her who did it. But even so, considering that the Yao family head had previously told her about the mastermind behind the Cao family, she still warned him, "You guys be careful." After telling Demon Evildoer and Sung what Master Yao had said, Sung also nodded. It really wasn't the Yao clan's doing. What is this old man trying to do? Are you trying to get on our good side? Master Ning couldn't help but ask. After knowing that his death was the work of the God Lord's estate, his opinion of Master Yao had naturally decreased a lot. However, if he saw Master Yao again, he would still not give him a good face. Who asked them to live like this for so many years? Neutral? That's not easy. If you're not careful, you might be crushed to pieces. After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, Uncle Long added. That's none of our business. However, as long as the Yao family doesn't side with Rai Mice, I won't touch them. Leng Ruoxue made her stand clear. Even though she was ruthless to her enemies, she was not bloodthirsty. As a result, as long as the other party did not touch her forbidden lamella, she would not kill him under normal circumstances. Don't worry, that old man is very cunning. He knows what he wants and where his bottom line is. Therefore, unless he is forced to, he will not make any choice. Master Ning, who knew Master Yao quite well, laughed when he heard Shuai'er's words. That's good. I just hope he doesn't stand on the wrong side. Leng Ruoxue laughed. In fact, how could the Yao family head have the mood to pick a side at this time? Just the matters of the Yao family alone were enough to make him dizzy. After compensating the Ning family with a lot of property, the Yao family's financial resources shrank sharply, to the point that it was a problem to build a main house that was exactly the same as before. Money was the biggest problem the Yao family was facing now. The Yao family head was busy raising money while Leng Ruoxue continued to refine the Hotian Chaos Divine Weapon. The men in black in fog had also stopped for a while. The entire god world seemed to be peaceful, but in reality, there was an undercurrent. However, other than the few experts at the top of the pyramid, the ordinary deities could not feel the inexplicable tension of the low pressure. As the saying goes, the ignorant are fearless. It seemed that this was indeed a wise saying. Only those who knew nothing could live happily. The days were as usual. The Qing clan's encampment in Demon City was also slowly being established. The 100 clansmen chosen by Qing Xian were all brought here. They had been informed of the various rules before coming to Demon City. As a result, they were as obedient as newborn beasts upon reaching Demon City. Qing Xian was quite satisfied with this. However, he didn't dare to tell these people that he had brought them here just in case, so that he could leave a trace of the Qing family's bloodline. More than half of these 100 people were young children. This way, Uncle Long and the others had something to do. It was their responsibility to train new students. Qing Xian couldn't ask for more when Uncle Long and the others volunteered to be the race's coach. After all, it wasn't easy to find a godly venerable level coach. Even in the Qing family, he didn't dare to say that he could let the supreme divinity personally guide these little guys. Now, these little guys were in luck, and Qing Xian was happy for them. Thanks moreover, the personal guidance of the reverent God-level cultivators was also very beneficial to these little fellows. Uncle Long and the others were even more strict teachers. Even the Qing family head, who had personally witnessed how they trained his own children, knew that he couldn't be as meticulous as them. "You've worked hard." The Qing family's head personally thanked Uncle Long and the others, his eyes glistening with tears. He was so touched. These people were so cute. However, Uncle Long and the others couldn't tell that he was touched. Uncle Long even joked, "Why are you crying? Didn't you just let your child suffer a little? It's not a big deal. Is it worth it? Ah. I'm not feeling heartache, I'm just touched. Can't you guys tell?" Hearing this, the Qing family head said dejectedly, "Are you touched? I really couldn't tell." Uncle Long laughed evilly. The head of the Qing family, who had been hit hard by Uncle Long, squatted in a corner and started drawing circles. 10 years later. Leng Ruoxi's weapon refining work was still ongoing. However, Cheng Wu and the rest had already come out of their closed-door cultivation. Of course, he did not want to come out of his closed-door cultivation, but he was kicked out of his bracelet by Qing Ju. Therefore, the posture of the large group of people coming out of their closed-door cultivation was quite beautiful. Other than Leng Qingtian and Leng Ruhan, who had received special treatment from Qing Ju and had come out in a normal posture, the rest of the people had fallen from the sky with their limbs facing the sky and landed in the garden's pond. It could be said that too many people had fallen into this garden pond, including Uncle Long and the others. The result of this incident was that the small animals in the pond had once again suffered a psychological blow. They all went to the bottom of the water and did not dare to come out. Uncle Long and the others, who were sitting in the garden and chatting, were dumbfounded for a long time when they saw the people falling into the water. Finally, they came to their senses and looked at the wet people and asked, "Can you guys advance?" These people were already divine emperors when they were in seclusion. They had also been in their bracelets for so long, so their spiritual energy was already very abundant. Hence, Uncle Long had no doubt that they were kicked out by Green Vessel because they could advance. But looking at the expressions of these people, it didn't seem so. "I'm still lacking a little." Leng Ruhan laughed. State of mind? Uncle Long and the others understood. Indeed, the advancement from a divine emperor to reverent God was a hurdle for all deities. Once they crossed this step, they would be able to reach the heavens in a single step. If they couldn't cross this step, they would forever be considered second-rate experts. The key to advancing to the next level was not only to have enough spiritual power, but also to have a strong mental state. However, these little guys had a good state of mind and pure thoughts, so Uncle Long and the others had high hopes for them. Uncle Long and the others couldn't help but laugh out loud when they learned about their current situation and looked at their current appearance. "Uncle Long, are you done laughing?" Cheng Wu, who was completely drenched, said gloomily. "No, I didn't." Uncle Long and the others replied in unison, their laughter still loud and clear. Looking at the few old men who were laughing without any care for their image, Cheng Wu really wanted to squat in a corner and draw circles to curse them that they would not have any food to eat tonight. It was really too despicable. He actually laughed at them. Chapter 2973, The Ninth Weapon Tribulation, 16. In fact, these old men were just too bored. Now that they saw a little guy being kicked out of seclusion, they were naturally in a good mood. Especially when they saw the depressed expressions of these little guys, they laughed even more heartily. When they finally stopped laughing, Leng Ruhan could not help but ask, "Uncle Long, where is Shuer? Why don't I see her?" Although he was in seclusion, he still missed his sister the most. "Her. He's refining." Uncle Long replied in a mysterious manner. "Oh. Then I'll go find her." Leng Ruhan laughed and ran towards Leng Ruoxi's weapon refining room. After a round of searching, he still could not find Leng Ruoxue, so he could only return to the garden. "Uncle Long, I can't find Shuer." Leng Ruhan asked in confusion. Qing Ju had said that Shuer was not in the bracelet, so where did this person go? She built a temporary weapon forging room outside. Uncle Long was only halfway through his sentence when he heard a loud bang in the garden. He simply shut his mouth. Ah! What's that sound? Leng Ruhan and the others were curious. Weapon refining explosion. Uncle Long said calmly. Arg! Schwer! Where is Schwer? When Leng Qingtian heard this, he immediately became anxious. This sound was definitely made by Schwer. The empty space outside. Uncle Long said calmly. As soon as he finished speaking, Leng Qingtian and the others rushed out of the door impatiently. In the end, they found Leng Ruoxue and the others in an empty space far away from the main residence. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue and the others were completely black. Only two pairs of clear, watery eyes were exceptionally clear. Schwer! Leng Qingtian called out softly. He did not dare to recognize her. Was this little black person his beautiful granddaughter? Grandpa, you've come out of seclusion. The moment Leng Ruoxue saw Leng Qingtian, she immediately pounced towards him. Back then, her grandfather and the others had been in a hurry to enter seclusion, and she had not seen her grandfather for so long, so one could imagine how much she missed him. Leng Qingtian hugged his precious granddaughter tightly, not caring about Leng Ruoxue's dirty appearance at all. The two of them were just short of hugging each other and crying. Schwer, did you not see Big Brother? Leng Ruhan, who had been standing by the side for a while, saw that Schwer only cared about her grandfather and her heart could not help but bubble with bitterness. He was jealous. Brother. Seeing her brother acting like a child who couldn't get any candy, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but be speechless. However, she still let go of her grandfather and gave her brother a hug. Leng Ruhan, who had gotten what she wanted, instantly felt that her life had been fulfilled. Miss, what about us? At this moment, Cheng Wu also said. Do you need a hug? Before Leng Ruoxue could speak, the evildoer beside her had already spoken. Thanks, Arg. No need. No need. When Cheng Wu and the rest heard the demon's words, they were so scared that their little hearts trembled. Guild leader Yi is always so imposing. It was just a light sentence, but it made him feel that the world had become dim. You guys are out too. Leng Ruoxue, who was holding back her laughter, finally spoke. Then, she looked at Cheng Wu and the rest in surprise and asked, You guys fell into the water? Ah. There's a problem with the way we came out. Cheng Wu couldn't help but say. You were kicked out. Leng Ruoxue finally understood. Miss, don't be so smart. Cheng Wu and the rest blushed. Yo! You're already an adult and you're still blushing. However, you came out at the right time. Uncle Long and the others are too bored, so you should spend more time with them. Leng Ruoxue warned. Miss, we have to go out and gain experience. Cheng Wu reminded them. Their mental state was a little weak, so even if they had enough spiritual qi, they still could not advance. Thus, it was extremely necessary for them to go out and train. When Cheng Wu and the rest heard this, they could only smile bitterly in their hearts. They knew very well how destructive Uncle Long and the others were. If they brought them along, they could imagine that their carefree days would be gone forever. However, they couldn't disobey the young lattice words. Therefore, if they wanted to go out and train, it was necessary to bring Uncle Long and the others. Schwer, why let them go out and gain experience? My dream dust space can do it too. Whatever kind of experience you want, I can come up with it. It's definitely real and reliable. Suddenly, a snow-white figure appeared beside Leng Ruoxue and suggested with a smile. The moment she saw Huan Chen appear, the veins on Leng Ruoxue's forehead throbbed. She then said, You'll have to ask them. She was a democratic boss, so she left the choice to her subordinates. Are you willing to do so? After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, Huan Chen turned his pitch-black eyes to Cheng Wu and the rest. Cheng Wu and the others shivered. Everyone knew how terrifying illusory dust was, but the young lady did not care about it, so they did not dare to refuse. After exchanging glances with each other, Cheng Wu spoke on behalf of his brothers with a long face. We were willing. They didn't dare to refuse. Otherwise, Huan Chen would definitely find an opportunity to teach them a lesson. Under Huan Chen's silent threat, Cheng Wu and the others decisively ran away. Then, before they could even eat a delicious and hot meal, Huan Chen took over. They did not even have the time to return to their own rooms. As for Uncle Long and the others, who thought they would have the opportunity to teach these little guys how to improve their mental state cultivation, they didn't have the guts to snatch them from Huan Chen. Otherwise, that sinister guy. None of Shui Er's artifact spirits could be provoked. Facing Tseng and Huan Chen, Uncle Long and the others were terrified. These two weapon spirits were simply too powerful. As for Green Vessel, they were not at their peak, and he was still a little baby, so they were not afraid. However, Green Vessel was quite scary when it was angry. Hence, Uncle Long and the others, who were tactful, would not take the initiative to provoke Green Vessel. In short, no matter what Shui Er's people were, they should not provoke them. After Cheng Wu and the others were taken over by Huan Chen, he decisively targeted Ling Qingtian and Ling Ruhan. However, he did not say anything and only looked at the two of them quietly. His gaze made the two of them feel their hair stand on end. In the end, they had no choice but to ask Ling Ruoxue for help with their eyes. Let Grandpa and brother accompany me for a few days, Ling Ruoxue said helplessly. Good. I'll come pick them up in 3 days. Huan Chen was very generous. Seeing that he only gave 3 days, Ling Ruoxue couldn't help but want to ridicule him. Who was the master here? Shouldn't she be the one in charge? Why did all of them want to make decisions for her? Ling Ruoxue was filled with grief and indignation.